I didn't ask for this.
Don't feed me this bullshit. You have been bugging me day in, day out. Being like, dude, when we go to stream? When we go to stream? I'm like, I can barely hold my nose for more than 10 seconds. Shut the fuck up. You wanted to do this.
That's true.
I
But
mean, even realistically speaking, I'm still not 100%, but at least I can talk for 5 minutes in a row.
yeah, I just don't do very well on my own. I'm just not able to ad lib and all that.
So that's the thing. It's going to be interesting when I get my own apartment, which should be in the next couple of months, and I'll probably be doing some streaming and probably doing like hour-long shows on my own, which normally isn't an issue because I'm used to that. So when I get my own apartment, which should be in the next couple. I think what helps though is that I'm just really good at going on tangents, so I can keep myself going on to something else and still being able to stick with what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's just kind of fun to do these kind of things because the time we usually do things, there's like an open space because Killstream and Snatchcast don't start till like 9, and there's nothing around this time of night for people to watch.
Yeah.
We can get to where people actually want to watch our tangents. That'd be nice.
Well, it's the work you got to put forward. Nothing happens overnight.
Yeah.
I've been doing this. I've been doing this shit on and off for like 7 years. So.
Yeah. I do believe I owe all the Battlefield fans an apology. I was completely wrong about the series, except 5.
Yeah, that's still gonna be shit.
Yeah, but here's the good thing about Battlefield 5: you get to kill women.
Ooh.
Someone shit posted that.
Well, it's been a good run, guys.
But that was actually a literal shit post I saw on Twitter, and Ian Miles Chong retweeted it, threw a shit bit over it. Like, Ian, the guy was probably joking.
Oh, I know, but I mean, the way that I also look at it too is I think in some ways we need to kind of figure out when's the time for a joke and when's the time to maybe kind of hold it back.
Yeah, probably. It's just like, but I understand
not to mention, if you're going to have those kind of jokes, you probably might want to have a little bit of clout behind you first, because just a random person saying that doesn't exactly really do much, does it?
Nah.
Just makes you look like an asshole. Now, if Anthony Jeselnik, for example, makes that joke, then it's a little more funny because you already know him for that.
Yeah. I forget who it was. It was like some anime profile picture that did it. But it was just kind of funny. I retweeted because I thought it was funny. I know we're all bummed out. To think of something like, I know people are upset that there are women in Battlefield, but get this: you get to kill women.
I mean, it's not that anybody has a problem with the fact that they're in it. It's just they decided to do it in an era where there weren't nearly as many, and now they're making it seem common.
I know.
If this was Battlefield 2142 all over again, I don't think anybody would bat a fucking eyelash.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, because basically I didn't have a dog in this fight to begin with when this happened. And I made comments like that. Women were not that common in the Battlefield back then. And of course, Paladin, he had to say that, bring up like some Russian fighter pilots that they had, like.
Which is fine, but if the way that I look at it is if you have to pull out an example that's like that no one knows about, what does that tell you?
Yeah. And of course, they're fucking Russians. Everyone fought in Russia.
Well, it just comes down to as simple as like, this was the 1940s. Like, this was still the age where there was still like the we can too when women were moving into the workforce. Like, that was where the history was. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, that's what progress is. It's the same thing that we are in today, where people just don't want to admit that from here to 50 years ago, the progress that we made is so exponentially incredible.
Yeah.
But, we have to nitpick everything. We have to have people like, who the fuck wrote that Kotaku article the other day about Spider-Man? About how the cop, like, Spider-Man's like a cop supporter. And it's like, what?
I know the quartering BO, and I was like, I saw the title, I was like, motherfucker. He's a fucking superhero. What do you expect him to be doing?
He's a goody two-shoes. Like, that's literally his role.
He's not the Punisher.
This is the other thing, too, about me not being around for over a week. God damn, I've got some shit to talk about.
I know. Just like I had this to say about the notorious David Shitrat, aka Spinosaurus Kin. Why does anyone ever trust him? He's so traitorous. He makes Starscream look loyal.
Oh, is this more internet bullshit that I don't know about?
Yeah, because he basically tried to say that the Ralph is running a doxing server and a mass spying server on Discord. The Ralph is not even in there most of the time. He just uses it for his streams to bring people like callers on.
God damn. Do you know? I don't know how it like. It must be so amazing being me by not paying attention to any of this
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, I watch these streams and I just watch them to be entertained. And here comes David Shitrat, who used to be good friends with Sargon, then he betrayed him. And he went on this holy crusade against the alt right because Lauren Southern didn't want to date him.
I mean, have you seen Lauren? Lauren can choose whatever the hell she wants.
I know. And David Shitrat's, let's just be honest, he had no chance. Because she's way out of his league. He looks like a little, well, he looks like a rat. That's probably the reason why they call him David Shitrat. But just like I wish David Sharat and Crow and these people would just stop picking fights on the internet. Just accept your loss and go somewhere else and leave people alone. Because most people don't want to have these fights. Crap, my phone's out.
It's the way that I've always looked at it is that, I mean, and this is coming from somebody obviously who has no fame, no notoriety, really doesn't, have any friends within the YouTube sphere other than like you. Realistically, you're like the only person I really stream with. I don't have like this gang of friends in the way that it would require to be involved in something like what's going on. But I mean, even in real life, when it comes to friends, like I don't really put myself into this situation. Like, I don't know when I hear all these things that happen with this internet bullshit, whether it's stuff going on, like you said, with the Ralph Retort and all these guys, with what Sargon's doing, with what quartering happens, with what goes on with the Worski guys, like all I do when I hear this stuff now, I used to be a little into it just because, when you got a lot of time on your hands, you're happy to just listen to stream after stream on shit. But now it's just, I don't know how anybody has the time to anymore, because there's so many better things you can listen to and so many better things you can watch that don't involve literally just listening to just pesky drama.
I know.
Like, I remember I have friends that still watch Keemstar over and over again. I'm like, why?
Oh, now you mentioned him. Here's something funny I heard from him last night because he came on the Kill stream. He's literally tired of talking about Jake Paul.
What's the thing? Like, I don't have a problem with Keemstar, the guy. It's just the whole thing just being nothing but internet drama to me is just like, I don't have time to care. I barely have enough time to care about what's going on my own goddamn planet.
But that's just the funny thing. Keemstar is tired of mentioning Jake Paul. That's how bad Jake Paul's.
Yeah, the amount of like money he's making off of just talking about him, and he's sick of it.
Yeah, it's just
you know something's getting overbearing when you don't want to even make money off it.
Yeah, just like, ugh, can't this retard stay out trouble for like 1 hour?
Or just on the flip side, can this idiot just like not be around for 1 hour?
Although he did do a fight a few weeks ago with KSI.
Yeah.
Actually, and this is the kind of funny thing. Talk had been trying to do something similar with getting these YouTubers to actually fight.
I was just laughing at it because with how much they charged, I'm like, if you're going to charge me anybody that much goddamn money, you make sure that it's not a boxing match. It's an MMA fight. It's bare fists.
Yeah.
Don't bullshit your audience.
Yeah, make an MMA fight out, but actually.
But I mean, of course, any 12-year-old with their parents' credit card information is gonna go for that shit. So
I know. I remember Tonka was pointing out how all these skeptics, they whine about how they're not making any money, and then Jake Paul and these other people made a bunch of money actually fighting.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, a lot of it's just jealousy.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is, like,
well, yeah.
Do I hate the fact that somebody like Jake Paul can make the money that they do? Of course I do. When PewDiePie first became a huge thing, I didn't get it. But at the end of the day, if you know how to work the business better than I do, then hats off to you. Make your money.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I
it's
can't
just
say shit. I'm a guy who has 100 and something subscribers, and I've been doing stuff here and there for like 7 years, and I've barely made any traction. So clearly, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So for me to sit
well,
here and pretend like I know what to do
yeah.
and that Jake Paul doesn't deserve what he gets, I'm an idiot because I clearly don't know how to market myself. That's just
Yeah.
how it is.
Well, that's kind of thing. Like with the internet blood sports, when it started blowing up, all these people like Sargon and them, they talk bad about it, like it was going to ruin everything, and they're just upset because they want to keep doing all their responsibilities to the blue-haired feminists and Riley Dennis over and over and over and over again. I think Andy Worski had the right approach. Like he one day just decided he didn't want to do any more Riley Dennis videos because it had just gotten old. Riley Dennis is going to be a crazy motherfucker no matter what you say.
I mean, it depends. Like, I don't want like if I had my way, I'd be doing a lot more reactionary stuff. But it just gets to a point where if you do too many of this of the same channel, it starts to become less like you're doing it because it's good content or because you're doing it like a crutch. It's
Yeah.
hard to say.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, too, it's just like you're gonna drive yourself nuts if you're watching the same bullshit.
Yeah. Like um, Taka Takasafa and Kumite basically said that some of these people that had problems with each other, after actually talking to each other, they're getting along now. That's kind of the thing about internet blood sports. You let these two people yell at each other for a little bit, and they eventually get past their differences.
Well, it's like almost if you lock two people in a room for an hour that hate each other, eventually they'll figure out something to be nice to each other about, or just one of them's going to end up dead, one or the other.
Yeah. And like Razor Fist, I like his content, but when he was bitching about internet blood sports about how it's not run like a proper debate because people are yelling at each other and cussing and all that, it's like Tonka literally said on a stream to Destiny, this is a debate club. Because Destiny had a bad night one night at Kumite because I think they did a 24-hour stream on New Year's Day. And Destiny ran into Brittany Venti and got his ass kicked verbally. Yeah, it's just like, and Tonka had told, basically said several times that internet blood sports is not a debate. It's just two people yelling at each other.
Which, if people are going to watch, why the fuck not, right?
Yeah. And I think at a certain point, you can't have fucking debate club because these so-called internet debates, they're not moderated very well. Why don't you just let two people yell at each other until they get tired yelling at each other and talk about their differences?
Well, I think that's the reality, right? Is that you're never going to get Sargon and
Christy Winters.
yeah, like you're never going to get those two people in a room and they're going to have a civil conversation. I mean, we saw it with the Sargon and Thomas Smith from Mythicon, or
Yeah.
Was it Mythicon? I'm trying to think. It was a two-word thing, wasn't it? But something like that, yeah. Like anybody who saw the debate knows, like there was never going to be a civil debate. Like there's no way that's ever going to happen. The only reason that you can get something like a Jordan Peterson or Sam Harris is because they're both fucking gentlemen and not two, teenage angst still infused like 20 to 30-year-olds that still haven't gotten over that.
Yeah, it's
kind of as much as I love a lot of these YouTubers that I watch, they haven't gotten over the fact that they're just older children. That's all it is.
Yeah, and Sargon's kind of lost the plot recently because he keeps talking shit to Jim, and now he's acting like he's going to dox Jim. Like, Mr. Manicure doesn't care if you're wearing a suit to Parliament or wherever. Jim's just here to laugh at stupid people being stupid.
It's just at the point to me too where it's just like, worry about your own shit.
I know. See, what Sargon? It seems like he's really bitter towards Mr. Manicure because apparently he thought that Mr. Manicure should have led Gamergate, and Jim never wanted to do that. And one mistake people always make about Mr. Manicure is they think that he's their friend. Jim is no one's friend.
Well, the other thing too that I'm thinking of is why the hell are we even caring about what's going on in Gamergate? Gamergate is like a multi-year-old issue that no one gives a shit about anymore.
I know. And now it's about
like, it's done. It's buried.
I know.
We're like hell. We've buried Comicsgate now. Like that's gone.
No, it's not really. It's actually doing kind of well. because the only problem we've had recently with that is Box Day tried to co-opt it, and these people, because Box Day, he's hyper political. He tried to bring in his far right politics into that these this thing that these people are trying to do just to make fun comics. And Ethan Van Sciver had to threaten to sue him for the rights of the name comics because he tried to copyright it. And the thing about Box Day is people talk about how he's like this big name from Gamergate. I never heard of him.
Also, when you have the title, he was a big name from Gamergate, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like saying you're a big name from Gamergate is like saying you're the nicest guy in prison. It just doesn't matter.
Well, don't remember, Monday Matt is the reason why Gamergate happened.
I don't even give a shit what the reason is anymore.
That's a joke people always do about.
Here's my thing. If we could ever figure out who started it, can we just go back in time and just axe that person off so we could have just avoided like almost 5 years now of bullshit?
You mean stop Zoe Quinn from what she was doing?
Well, if that's the easy one to point out, but God only knows where this really started.
We'd have to probably just nuke the whole gaming industry because a lot of these people should have been fired. That would prevent Gamergate from happening.
Yeah, just nuke all the major North American companies. Just leave the Japanese and leave the European ones alone, and we're good. We're probably in good shape. Actually, you know what? Keep Valve. We need Steam.
Yeah. And they nuke some of these outlets like Eurogamer because they decide to ask the developers of Cyberpunk 2077 if you could be trans. And that poor developer's like, why are you doing this to me? I just want
Yeah, it's not a fun article to read.
I know, because you could.
I don't think I've ever felt so bad for a person before reading that. It's just like, oh my God.
That poor developer is like, why are you doing this to me? I never did anything to you.
I'm just trying to make a fun game.
Why are you doing this to me? I just want to talk about the fun stuff in my game, and you're asking me about transgender issues.
What did they ever do to you? They matter so much. They've always mattered so much because
I don't know.
Everybody really cared so much about what Samus Aran's gender identity was and who she wanted to. Well, I guess at that point we didn't know who it was. Who Samus wanted to fuck because it was such a big deal. Who cared that this bounty hunter was going around shooting aliens and exploring awesome like planets and caves and shit? No. What's only important on what the gender is. That's the most important thing. Really. After watching a 45-minute demo that blew me the fuck away, the first thought in my mind is, but what gender is the main character?
Oh, God. This is a shit I hate about video games because, like, they're alive. It used to be your fan service fighting game. You had jiggly tits everywhere. But then the parents had to complain, and now they're trying to beat Tekken. Cully.
Well, to be fair, if they're like Tekken, that doesn't necessarily mean there won't be swimsuits.
Well, I shouldn't say Tekken, but they're trying to be like a serious game now instead of so they're downplaying the fan service. Like,
to which I would say, you're a fighting game. Fuck off.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a serious fighting game. You know what we call a serious fighting game? EA MMA. That's the closest thing you have to a serious fighting game. If you are a Dead or Alive, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, whatever the fuck, none of these games are serious.
I do love Guilty Gear. I just love the whole concept of all the characters being references to some heavy metal act or rock music.
Oh, dude, don't even get me fucking started. Oh my God, I could go on for days about what Daisuke Ishiwatari does. My God, that fucking genius.
Like Soul's Freddie Mercury, and I want to actually do a science fiction novel with the same kind of theme going on, where you had like a space pirate named Mayor Killmister, reference to Lemmy.
I was gonna say let's just get oh my God, what's the company that was making all Brutal Legend, all those games? Just have them do like a futuristic Brutal Legend.
That's another thing. Brutal Legend is probably like one of the first isekai. If you think about it.
Oh my God, that game is so underrated too. I mean, it's, to be fair, the game's kind of crap when you really think about it, but there's so much goddamn good imagery in there. You don't even care.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, you're killing enemies to Judas Priest. What else can you ask for?
I know, that's just, oh man. I'm trying to think of all the references in Guilty Gear.
Axel Low. I could just start off with all the moves. Like Kai Kisk's like one of his biggest moves is Ride the Lightning, which is a
Yeah.
Metallica song. Like, good lord, I could go on for days with this shit. It's
Kurato Berry Jam is like reference to some band called Cloudberry Jam.
well, hell, just Eddie, Iron fucking Maiden.
Yep. Well, Zato 1 is a reference to the samurai film Zatoichi, which is like one of those iconic films.
Like the fact that I can just look up a page right now, and it for each character there's like at least 4 bullet points or more. That tells you how much there is. Good lord.
Yeah,
Like alone here. Kai Kisk, Ride the Lightning, obviously. Holy Orders, Be Just or Be Dead, reference to Iron Maiden's Be Quick or Be Dead. His instant kill name is Rising Force, which is an Yngwie Malmsteen reference. And then apparently he was going to have an attack called Aces High, which sounds fucking amazing too.
and Soul's named Frederick, as in Freddie Mercury.
Yep. Of course, his theme song is called Keep Yourself Alive, which is a Queen song. And his headplate has the Rock You engravement on it.
And his name, Soul Bad Guy, is a reference to the song Mr. Bad Guy.
Yep. I'm trying to think, what else did Soul have? Oh, yeah. His insta-kill was Napalm Death.
Yep. Let's see. Axel Low is...
I'm trying to think what else. Oh, obviously Slayer, that's named obviously after the band.
Testament.
Yeah, Testament. Because I think he had an attack called Master of Puppets, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. Master of Puppets, Gravedigger, Warrant.
Venom. Always forget Venom. To be fair, he fights with a pool cue. I don't know how the hell I'm forgetting about him.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites in Midnight Carnival just because of his fighting style. He's basically...
I'm clicking this article just to see what the hell's in it.
I'm on TV Tropes looking at it.
That's exactly what I clicked on. Let's see. What are some of the ones I didn't know? Really? Dizzy and Johnny are references to Goo Goo Dolls. I didn't know that.
I figured Johnny...
That I wouldn't have figured.
I figured Johnny's reference to Johnny Cash because he's dressed in black and all that.
Well, it could be anybody. It could be Johnny Cash. It could be Johnny Winter. Like, there's so many Johnnies. So...
Let's see. There's a character named ABBA.
Yep.
I think I know had like a reference to like X Japan, and like her song is based off of a X Japan song or something like that.
Probably not. One
of my favorite new characters is Leo Whitefang. I just love his design.
Oh yeah, he's fucking cool.
He's like this hyper masculine badass. Like he's kind of like crap. I can't remember the name, but the character is like one of those really manly guys that fucks shit up, but he's going left like an anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, I keep going through. Amelia Rage had her instant kills Iron Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
Bridget has an attack that's called Kickstart My Heart, which is a Motley Crue reference.
Bridget, probably one of the earliest traps. Everybody's gay for Bridget.
Oh, Faust. Jesus Christ, Faust. Oh my god. Speaking of people that I love playing in Guilty Gear XRD, god damn, Faust is so much fun.
He's the scalpel guy, right?
Yeah. He's such a douche to play against because you can't guess his shit. I love when I introduce people to that game. Like every time I show friends Guilty Gear for the first time, I'll intentionally play as Faust because they have no idea what I'm ever doing.
Oh yeah, I just remembered something. Samurai Showdown's coming back.
What is sir? Oh yeah, Samurai Shogun. That's right.
Oh man, I love that one because like Hamaru and Ukyo are basically references to. They're like XPs of Musashi and Kojiro.
Yeah.
Sasaki Kojiro. I like to play as Ukyo because he's just so fun. Because he fights with his back to the enemy, like he doesn't give a shit.
I never actually played that series, but I've heard so much about it.
I had one for the PS1 because I played it in an arcade at the mall.
I mean, maybe I have played it in passing, but I definitely don't remember.
Yeah. They had a bunch of good characters in that series.
Let's see. What's the newer ones? Anthology. Yeah, I remember seeing it, but I never played. Oh, that's why. Yeah, a lot of them are just arcade games. That's why I probably haven't.
Yeah.
Well, around where I live, like, there's really only like one major arcade, so it's really hard to find these kind of things.
I think the main villain of Samurai Shodown was Amakusa Shiro, who was like the leader of the Christian rebellion in
Huh.
Japan. He was basically the villain of the new Fate anime Apocrypha.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's,
But yeah, no man, it's exciting to see stuff. A lot of stuff coming back this year. Not to mention that just like as bad as the year has been politically for gaming, like this has definitely been a year that I felt a lot more promise in terms of stuff that's coming back. Like obviously we got Spider-Man back. That's been a big deal, and I'm glad that that's been going really well.
I want to get that game sometime because you get to fight fucking Taskmaster.
Oh, I'm glad that I got that. I was way underrating that game. I thought, you know what? Because when I saw the demo the first time at E3, I thought that it was going to be very copy and paste. I didn't like what I saw because I thought I'm like, oh, it's just going to be another Batman Arkham game. Who knows? I'm very happy to see that like everybody is beyond like over the moon with this game. So,
yeah.
To be fair, when I'm usually very pessimistic about a game that everybody else is hyping up, that's usually a good sign. At least for reviews. Didn't work with The Last of Us or Uncharted, but you know.
You mean the lesbians of us? I remember the E3 streams Mr. Macker was doing, and he just said, "We're watching two lesbians snip each other in the middle of a dance floor."
That's a great article headline. I guess it's having to do with people bitching about the new Tomb Raider's photo mode, how you can fuck with it. And finally, somebody just posted a title just saying video games aren't realistic, so stop expecting them to be. What a great fucking title that is.
I saw something about how they're bitching about the colonialism. I'm like, oh Jesus, shut the fuck up.
Like I think that's really a conversation that I could never stop having because I don't think it's ever going to go away at this point. In the same light that until PlayStation gets a fucking crossplay mode, it's never going away. But I don't understand what has changed in the past 5 to 10 years that has made people suddenly decide that games are no longer allowed to just be a fun form of entertainment. They have to carry a political message. They have to be realistic. They have, even, doesn't matter whether it's a fantasy setting, a futuristic setting, it has to encompass some sort of form of reality, which, to be completely honest, I mean, let's take the most simplest form of why we play video games. It's to fucking escape reality.
Yeah, that's like I've always said about, you always see these fat landwell feminists bitching about how they're not being represented in video games. Like, I'm a heavyset person. I don't want to see me in a game. I want to make my ideal version of what I wish I looked like.
I'm a skinny 150-pound guy who's never had muscle in his life and may never because, you know, I'm too fucking lazy to actually bother to do anything about it. And I've also been not one that's ever fought in my life, but I don't expect that I would all of a sudden become this great Marine that's going to go out in space and suddenly shoot a bunch of aliens. Like, it's just,
yeah,
you take the realism as it is. I don't like the fact that the majority of games that have a male lead character are these big burly guys, but I have to accept the reality that in a game that is filled with war and battle and stuff like that, the guy's not going to be a stick. Or the guy's not going to be a big, fat, fucking hulking blob. That's what Spider-Man is for.
I know. See, well, I'm going to have to say this.
Or that's what Saints Row's for, now that I think about it.
Yeah. I'm going to have to say this eventually, because yesterday on the Kumite, Bailey basically said he likes Deadpool, but he hates Deadpool fans. Because Deadpool fans are probably the worst.
Well, to be fair, can we just say that about almost anything?
Yeah, but
I like this, but I don't like its fans. Well, yeah, because the people that are active in the fan communities are always the most stupid.
Yeah. Well, here's why I kind of agree on that. Like I mentioned, Taskmasters and Spider-Man, and anytime you mention Taskmaster, you got some jack-off mentioning the fact that Deadpool beat him once. Yeah, but Shield's not going to turn to Deadpool to train their operatives because Deadpool's probably going to teach them how to just soak up their bullets with their body.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, anybody does that. Like you talk about this one thing and be like, oh yeah, well Star Wars did it better. Or, oh yeah, the Beatles did that. Or it's like that with everything.
Yeah.
The reality is every fandom is going to have those people that do it. In the same vein that, you know, anytime, like right now, Sony fanboys are going absolutely fucking bananas that Spider-Man is only PS4 exclusive. So they're just rubbing the salt in the wound, which is funny because at least it's something that we get to do as PlayStation fans
Yeah,
over all the everybody else that's been like, oh, you guys don't have crossplay, you fucking pieces of shit. And we're like, well, how you enjoying that not Spider-Man game? Like, at least it's something.
I
But
I mean, there's gotta be some stuff that's just for us. Like, I think it's
just the fact that like there's a reason there are different consoles. It's so that there is a differentiation
yeah.
between them.
But can we just address the fact that Nintendo fans are sometimes the worst? Like, I don't mean
You don't know. You don't have to say sometimes. Nintendo fans have always been the worst.
I don't mean like the kind of tolerable Nintendo fans. I mean those Nintendrones that demand that every game be on their fucking Switch, even though it's gonna melt it.
My answer is not changing to what I just said. Nintendo fans have always been the worst.
I know. Well, Tadashi, he he got angry at me because I said something about Nintendrones, like because I basically was talking about how I think Nintendo doesn't want to make consoles anymore, so they're trying to make the Switch not do well. Like, so they created like that. What's a cardboard thing again?
Oh, the Labo, yeah.
And like, I think they are trying to tank the system. They're like, see how stupid their consumers are. Like, oh, okay, this time they gotta get angry at us.
Well, here's the problem. They'll never get angry at them. No,
I know.
they can literally sell you a console that's just a box of literal shit, and it's called the Nintendo shit. Actually, no, it's called the Nintendo Wii shit. There we go.
And people would still buy it.
They would.
I heard this joke several times before that Nintendo could sell a box of shit and Nintendo fans would still buy it.
And that's literally it. I mean, it's not to take. It's not to necessarily say the Nintendo fans are like bad people or anything like that. But I mean, there is no company in all of video gaming that people will give a pass to more than Nintendo.
I know. I just feel like Nintendo's like, okay, we're literally selling them fucking cardboard. They have to get angry at us now. No,
Like again,
bought it.
they're doing a damn good job of recovering after the horrendous console that was the Wii U.
Yeah.
They're doing a damn good job with the Switch. It's done what it's supposed to have done. They've done some pretty good creative things. Like, don't get me wrong, I would never buy the Nintendo Labo, but there's some damn good, interesting ideas there. And not to mention now that they're figuring out ways to get games that they can't even make work on their system. Like, they're going to get Assassin's Creed Odyssey on there through streaming. So it means the quality is not going to be there, but they figured out a way to be able to get games that normally they wouldn't just be able to port that easy.
Yeah.
So they're doing what they need to do to stay relevant, and they're making their voices heard again compared to the last like 5 years.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away the fact that their fans, the heart, and I'm not talking just the average person that owns a Switch. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people that will frequent Reddit pages, forums, Twitter, and do that nothing but that all day.
I got an example. I used to follow this one person on Twitter named Satomi Famicom or something like that. They are the epitome of the Nintendo fanboy. Because every E3, here they come claiming that Nintendo's kicking the asses of all the other consoles because they're doing well with games that we beat 4 years ago.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, people are still going to point out right now that, oh man, the Switch is doing so well right now. I'm like, well, yeah, but let's also keep in mind that the customers that are buying a Switch are either Nintendo holdouts or they're people that have now had a PlayStation or an Xbox for a few years now and have kind of run the course on that system, and we're looking for something different.
Yeah.
It's really easy to say that your console is selling well when it's a brand new item going up against two consoles that have been out for more than 5 years.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not saying they haven't done well. I'm just saying it's very easy for those numbers to be inflated.
Yeah. Like, here's the reason why I don't really want to get another Nintendo console. They can't just make a normal fucking controller. They gotta have some kind of ridiculous gimmick.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Just
Playing Mario Kart on those tiny Joy Cons. I fucking hurt my fingers so goddamn much doing that.
Yeah, it's just like, why can't you just make a normal controller like your brothers do?
Well, they do. It's just you got to pay an extra $70 for it.
I know
They can't come with the console. That's asking too much.
I know it's really the bullshit that because I remember because I had like one of the original Nintendos, and I had the Super Nintendo. They came with 2 controllers, and then the N64 era they only gave you one. And now a new controller costs $60.
Isn't that ironic though when you think about it? That so many companies are saying single player is dead, and yet consoles always come out now with only one controller.
I know. And I really hate
It's
when,
I know it's because it means online, but it's still a very funny irony to it.
yeah, like the reason why, because I told you about how I got Just Cause 3 and Deus Ex, I got them because I need to have some single player games because sometimes I just get bored playing Destiny or something like that where you got some idiot that fucks up. Of course, sometimes it's me because I decided to rush and get the item that, like the little orb or whatever. But sometimes it's just like those games aren't. Well, they become like work.
Well, the only thing with Destiny right now that's bothering me is Gambit. Gambit is a fun mode to play, but it's not a fun mode to play with people that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Like I'm really good with Crucible. Like I was saying to you earlier, like I looked just now, just because I'm sitting on it right now. My KD, I guess it's KDA, counting everything, is a 2.4, which is not a normal thing for me in shooters.
yeah.
By the way, I'm usually pretty goddamn crap at them. But
Uh,
I've always been very good at being able to study people's patterns and being able to work around with it. Gambit, on the other hand, is one where you're basically fighting AI. The problem is now I can plan around PvP with other players. I can see what they're doing and be like, all right, that guy is going to probably go get himself killed. I'll wait and catch the guy who kills him off guard. Can't really do that in Gambit. So you're relying on people to actually play the game properly and to do it right and to not fuck up. And as we've learned with any game where you play with random people, asking people not to fuck up is like asking them to do anything. It's
well, if
just
you look back at my channel, you'll see a stream from when I cleared King's Fall raid the first time. And there's a squeaker in our party who's just bitching at everyone, saying that we're all fucking up. And then when he rage quit, we got another person to come in, and we somehow finished it, which makes me think it was him. Because I know without fault, because I was trying to, because there's a part where you have to run around the pedestals and all that. And I thought I was outside a little object, and I was clipping right into it because they didn't fix them right.
yeah.
Because I was just like, ugh.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I still like what Gambit is, but I need to be able to play with three other people I can communicate with because
Yeah,
there are way too many times where I'll play that mode and I'll literally look at the screen because the information's all there for you. I'll see that we have all the motes we need to summon a primeval, and everybody is still across the other end of the map just fighting shit. It's like, no, get your ass over there. The second that bar is full, you need to be running over because we
yeah,
need to summon that thing as soon as we can.
yeah. Like I
Because the
probably
second
could,
anybody invades, too, you lose the motes. Like, it's too risky.
yeah. It's kind of like when I had to do the triumph, where you had to beat Skullus, like year one near the end, for the Taken King dropped. Well, I was party was doing it, and you had all these people that didn't want to come work with you to get to Skullus. They wanted you to be at Skullus, otherwise they weren't going to come help. Just like, why? Because Skullus is a motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't miss President of Elders that much.
I know. The only one I ever did was like the one you could random with.
Like, Skolas was one of those things that took me until the next expansion to finish because look, the problem with me in Destiny is that I'm very good at the game, but I also am not very good at committing to it with other people because there are just a lot of people that play it more than I will, and I'm never playing the right stuff. I played what I'm really interested in, but it doesn't necessarily get my level up fast enough. Like,
Like
I got a bunch of friends that are all excited. I don't know if I don't think any of them have finished the raid, but like they're all going nuts on that, and I'm sitting here being like, I know I'm not even close to that. I'm like weeks away from even thinking about trying the raid.
I know. I haven't even done any of the raids yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, like now all the Leviathan ones I could do now, but the new one, actually, I wonder when somebody did it because I'm assuming somebody's done it by now.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the raid's open yet. I think it comes up next week.
No, it's out today.
Oh, it is?
Okay, so it did. Yeah, somebody did finish it.
Was it Gothalion?
I have no idea. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
I remember when he was like the first person to
Oh wait, I actually don't think anybody has done it.
oh. I remember hearing about how Gothalion and his friends did the first take Kingsfall raid. There's a funny story about how one of those wall piston things not Gothalion into the other end of the zone because one of them came out and he just screaming because they got him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be one of those people that's trying to get the first one. Yeah, you go down legend. It's being one of the first person to beat a raid, but I don't want to do it. It's just too much pressure.
Yeah, it looks like nobody's done it yet. I keep looking, thinking maybe I've missed something, but no, it looks like nobody's finished it still.
Eh.
That's crazy. It's been open for a while. That tells you that it's one of two things: either the mechanics are extremely difficult, or you just need to be a lot more leveled up than anybody is capable of doing at this point.
Yeah. I do want.
Oh yeah, 21 minutes ago, they looks like they finally got into the last boss.
Ouch. I remember that one
Ow.
Cyclops in the Kingsfall raid was just a pain in the ass to fight. It was just like I forget what it's called, but
Yeah, so they've been going for almost 8 hours now. Damn,
was it
that's
Golgoroth?
crazy.
Don't bother me if I forget what the name of that damn Cyclops was.
For which one?
One Kingsfall raid. Was it Golgoroth?
Yeah, Golgoroth.
God damn.
Because it was Golgoroth, and it was Daughters, then it was Oryx.
That's another thing. It's a shame we didn't get very much. Like, Nocris was just treated like a throwaway villain.
Who was?
Nocris, the guy who was working with the Warman, Warmind.
Uh,
He's supposed to be Oryx's side, and he's just like some random wizard.
honestly, I wasn't really bothered.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like, yeah, it's really kind of a little bit offensive that they just recycled those last two missions.
I mean, if I knew more about the lore, maybe I could be a little more interested into it. But
yeah, just
I mean, now that I see who's like the main villain for Last Wish, I'm kind of surprised that I was positive that Savathun was going to be a big part of it.
I think because okay, sit with me, work with me here. We know that the third expansion this year is going to be called Penumbra, right?
Yeah,
And there's this part of Mars that's locked off, and it's called the Penumbra.
yeah.
It's got hive shit there. Because I was looking for the little triangle boxes. I was working on my exotic quest line, and I just went in that one area, and I saw this Penumbra area that's all locked off. Like, ah, that's interesting. So I'm guessing Savathun will be the when we find the third DLC.
Who knows? I mean, I'm still disappointed that we're not fighting like Dark Cade or some. I was joking with that with my friends. It's like, oh no, you're definitely fighting Evil Cade. It's totally happening. Not to mention, that Final Fantasy crossover, because Final Fantasy's into everything at this point. And then I stopped myself for a second and went, wait, I need to have a Magitech armor boss in Destiny. You know what? Fuck it, let's do it.
Oh no!
I'm in.
Maybe that can
As
be
long as I get a Ragnarok ship as my ship in Destiny. As long as I do that.
maybe they can do it with the Black Armory.
I would have said one of the Final Fantasy VI airship, but I mean, let's be honest, that would look like crap in Destiny. So.
I'm looking forward to the Black Armory because it's just the machine guns coming back. I missed my machine
Oh,
guns.
I'm looking at pictures of Ragnarok from Final Fantasy. Fuck yeah, I would totally want that as a ship. Oh, that would be amazing. That so fits too. That so fucking fits.
I wish I could find a little thing with all the little roadmap for year two, like because. But here's one thing I wish you would just finally do: make Tex Mechanica a proper foundry in the game. Just let them have a bunch of cowboy games like what Jacobs from Borderlands.
Oh yeah.
Just happened to be like the Jacobs brand. Like you got lever action rifles and
Oh, that'd be
break
interesting.
action rifle shotguns and revolvers and the return of the last word. Because I kind of missed the last word for some reason.
I'm all right with it. I think in terms of hand cannons, I'd rather them bring back Hawkmoon, to be honest.
Hmm.
But I
I
mean,
just
I'm loving the bow way too much to even give a shit about weapons at this point. So
I know I have one bow. I keep trying to get another one from Banshee, but I still haven't gotten one. So to swap
I
it
mean,
between the characters.
luckily you can just infuse primaries into primaries, so at least I haven't had to wait for bows.
Yeah, but those
The one
bows are
I've
just
got,
fun because
the one I've got is still pretty good. I'm very happy with it. I got exploding arrows. Hip fire is really good. So I mean, it's very nice.
yeah. Someone on Rouse server posted a picture of the bow they got. I mean, 'cause- let me see what was on
I
it.
can tell I've enjoyed it too much because I masterworked it right away, and I've already hit 3,000 kills with it.
The bows are just fun, and you're like, I remember when Toll Biscuit was alive, when Destiny the Taken King was announced. He was bitching about the fact that they're using a bow and arrow. And, like, that's fucking space magic, Total Biscuit. They're making a bow out of pure
he
darkness. And
he's basically you're basically shooting plasma energy at somebody. It's just the bow is a symbol.
yeah, it's like, why would you complain about that? That's fucking cool. He's creating a bow of pure void energy and shooting it at someone to suppress their abilities. That was that was cool.
Well, you gotta take the fun away from everything, you know.
Total Biscuit, I think, was overthinking things. So his
The cynical Brit overthinking.
I don't know. It's just like because it's just he criticizes bows and he seems to forget Rambo fucking used a bow.
Well,
And these bows we have now, they're basically Rambo's bows because they explode when they hit the enemy. They lodge in and explode.
well, and that goes back to what I said earlier. It's just I'm tired of people expecting games to have a sort of a realistic nature to it. It's just like stop. It's a fucking game.
I know.
Like for God's sakes, what happened to the games? Like I know I miss the days of Painkiller where you had guns that shoot fucking shurikens and lightning, but you know.
Was Painkiller the one about the guy who's sent to hell or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
I had that for the PC. I don't know where I put it.
But like there was those games. There's the Serious Sam games, like the old school Dooms, obviously Shadow Warrior. Like obviously a lot of those games have started making comebacks again, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like those, I think that's the difference too. Is that we have so many games now that are trying to push more realistic storytelling than anything else. Like games back in like the '90s and early 2000s were just meant to be stupid fun.
Yeah.
It's why a game like Bulletstorm really registered so well with people, and why like the new Doom it did as well as it did. It's just people are tired of games like meant to be like depressing and fucking gritty and whatever else. And people are just like, I just want to blow shit up.
Yeah, it's kind of how it is. Like, what makes Just Cause 3 fun for me is basically the sandbox. They give you a grappling hook on one arm, and you can just use to tear down statues. And it's like Mercenaries, Playground Destruction.
Well, fuck, the new one's gonna have fucking tornadoes.
Oh,
We don't
man.
give a shit.
I know.
Just do it. If it sounds fun, do it.
I know.
It's a great idea.
I know. And in one of the DLCs, they give you like a jetpack. So why the fuck would you ever use a car? You could just fly anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
And that's just fun. Take off into the sky.
I mean, it's what happened is like, as good as it was at the time, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is really where shit started to pick up.
Yeah.
Once that game found what it was, and even though it was a damn good game, the fact that people realized that they could make a lot of money off of a modern, realistic storytelling, that was the beginning of what I feel was very close to one point to the end of things as we knew it. Now we're starting to get back into a phase where games are being fun again. The problem is the journalists are not making it fun.
No,
The games are as fun as they used to be again, and the journalists are making it hard to be fun.
Well, they got pissed off about that line in Doom Eternal. Demons prefer the term mortally challenged. And it's just like, can't you motherfuckers just laugh at yourselves?
Or like, here's an idea. If you don't like something, can't you just ignore it?
Have you ever,
Most like the thing is like people have told me like some of the stuff that I post is like, like by clicking on it or talking about it, you're giving it more credence. I'm like, yeah, but you're also not knowing about the 25 other things I passed on earlier today. The
yeah,
problem is you see all the people now in the journalism industry that literally aren't passing on anything. They're writing articles about every single thing that pisses them off.
I know.
It's
Well,
like when I say ignore, I don't mean literally ignore everything. I think we're all smart enough to know that we're human beings. It's impossible to ignore every single thing that happens.
yeah,
Like I'm really good at ignoring internet drama. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be a story that comes out at some point that I'll sink my teeth into.
yeah.
It hasn't happened recently. I've been lucky enough to be able to avoid it, but something's going to happen eventually.
Well, I keep telling you about it.
I mean, I guess the closest thing was Angry Joe recently.
Yeah.
Like that's when I could sink my teeth into, but I mean, I'm still right back to watching his stuff again. Like it's not the thing that's going to completely destroy me. Like it's not. I don't know. Like it's going to take something a lot more drastic.
Pissed off Pablo just couldn't help but step on the rake. It's just like, because people don't like Battlefield 5 because of all the virtue signaling and all that. And they basically turned off a lot of people that just want to have a fun game.
I mean, here's the thing too, right? Because obviously Battlefield 5's sales or pre-orders for that matter were not very high. One of the major factors that no one is talking about, have you ever thought that maybe people are just boycotting EA because I may be one of those people?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are literally just not buying shit that EA produces, and that's not necessarily true because obviously there's still people that will buy like the indie games and stuff like that, and there are a few licenses here and there.
Well,
But the big EA games, like we're talking your Maddens, we're talking your FIFAs, we're talking Star Wars Battlefront, we're talking Battlefield, like those ones they'll ignore. I'm going to be really interested to see how well Anthem does because that is going to be a real test because what's going to deter people? Is EA going to be enough to deter them away from BioWare? Because BioWare is still a darling to people. As much as people didn't like Mass Effect Andromeda, BioWare is still very much a darling.
Yeah. I'm going to wait and see on Anthem. It looks cool, but I'm just going to wait and see.
It's going to be the same for me. Like, I don't know where Destiny's DLC is going to be at, so they may have something right around the same time. Not to mention Division 2 is going to be coming out. Yeah. I may still even be playing Kingdom Hearts 3 by the time all this shit happens, so.
Kingdom Hearts. The game that should have come out 10 years ago.
Well,
people still gave a shit.
The game came out 10 years ago. It just came out in 5 different iterations and 7 mobile games.
I know. Well, Zidane from Rapper Torch streams, he basically said that Kingdom Hearts 3 was a game that should have came out 10 years ago.
I mean, the reality is it's like any other big cult hit. Like, people are still more than happy that it's back. Like, I have never forgotten about it. I haven't played a game since I tried to play Birth by Sleep and I hated it, and I didn't play anything else after that. Wow, so realistically, the last one I finished was Kingdom Hearts 2.
Well, I finished my one playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 2 and never played it again because that tutorial segment was just too long for my taste.
Have you ever played a Japanese RPG before? That's par for the course, man.
But the tutorial on that one was ridiculously long. Like, that prologue was like half the game.
I'm sorry. I'm okay with it. I was more than happy to beat the shit out of Setzer. Or sorry, girl happy Setzer. I still can't get those voice actors out of my way where it's just like a bunch of girls being like, Setzer! I'm like, no, I'm not believing that. I know he was a bit of a boy toy, but I think you could have at least gotten some more convincing women. It sounded more like they got a couple of feminine guys in the booth and they just started giving their best impressions.
And it's Cypher being an edgy boy.
Yeah, but that's fucking Cypher.
With food being one word.
Still the best. She's still the best.
I know.
She's like one of the only bright spots in that entire game. Don't take that away from her.
I know. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Fujin fanboy. Been that way
Like
since Final Fantasy VIII. She was my crush.
Jesus Christ, I'm gonna go through the entire cast and see if I can find one person other than Fujin that I really liked in that game because Lord knows I'm gonna have a hard time. Because I'm literally going through my head. I don't think there were any of the main party members that I actually gave a shit about because they
And
were just
FF8.
all irritating as fuck in their own way.
I did mind Selfie. I did like Renoa.
Let's see. Obviously, Squall couldn't give a shit. Renoa was a useless piece of shit. Actually, you know what? I'll give Laguna some props. Cypher, obviously not. Quistis, no. I could never trust a girl that holds a whip. Selfie, that girl's got issues. Zell's got a fucking Mike Tyson tattoo on his fucking face.
Here's the thing about Quistis. Just tell Squall you want to fuck him. That's all you have to say.
She didn't have to say it. She probably already did. He just doesn't remember because he took so many blows on the fucking head.
The Guardian Forces erase your memories.
I mean, Irving, Irving was just kind of in the background. Kiros and Ward, I don't really remember much. Adea, I guess, was hot before Lulu kind of did it better. And then I'm going through all the minor characters. I mean, Biggs and Wedge just get props all the time anyway.
They're going to show up in every game.
Yeah, you know what? No, it's honestly, it's really just Laguna. That's the only person I can really say. Oh, and Fujin, of course. Fuck.
I know. Fujin was just... She's got silver hair and an eye patch. She's still... Well, she's kind of stoic.
I think compare that to Abe, where there's way too many people I like in that game. Except for Waka. Fuck him. Fucking racist piece of shit. You want to talk about racism in video games? Look at Waka in Final Fantasy. Jesus Christ.
Mon. Yeah. I'm like, how did he get Lulu? How?
Oh, have you seen? Did you see everybody else on the fucking island? There was nobody left.
I know. Titus went away.
And come on, he has main character hairstyle. Of course, it's gonna work.
Oh, jeez. But the Final Fantasy games just progressively get more and more to me. That's the reason why I like Final Fantasy. What was it? 14?
Yeah, if 14 wasn't pay to play every month, I'd fucking be playing that game still. Though the free trial I had, I loved it, and I was playing solo pretty much for all of it.
I know. I liked the game because it was just more to the roots of what Final Fantasy was, not this contemporary bullshit.
I don't mind the contemporary bullshit if it's done right. I've said it before with Final Fantasy 15 with my review, where I fucking got furious about it. The game is amazing until you get on the ship, and then the linear parts of the story happen, and then it's absolute fucking trash.
Yeah.
But as a game, the open world part of it is amazing. I hope every Final Fantasy game from now on carries that, because it's incredible what they pulled off in the open world for that game.
Yeah.
The problem is they made a cast of characters that are only good together. On their own, they're completely useless. And every character they try to make you care about were the ones that get killed off so quickly that you don't have time to actually care about them. It's like when the one character I like out of all of them consistently through the entire game is the fucking mechanic who literally is just there to be sex appeal. When I care about that character more than anybody else, you probably didn't write some really interesting characters. Actually, that's not true. When my three favorite characters are a mechanic, a villain, and a completely pointless younger girl that's like there for 5 minutes in the game. When those are the three characters that I think of the most that I actually thought were well written, yeah, you fucked up.
Yeah, Final Fantasies are just kind of losing the plot on character development.
I don't think they've lost it. I think they've just forgotten that in order for a character to be interesting, they have to actually be likable. There's a reason why characters like Zidane and Tidus, as much as I hate his laugh, are still because they actually smile once in a while and have interesting things to say, unlike a certain giant sword wielding piece of shit that just the entire time.
Leave Cloud out of this.
Nope, I refuse. I will continue to piss Final Fantasy VII fans off. That is my job.
I actually kind of liked Final Fantasy VII a lot better than I did 8.
Yeah, but eight's like literally the bastard child of Final Fantasy. That's not saying much.
I know.
There's a reason why Final Fantasy VIII seems to be the one game that nobody's ever talking
Of
about or
course.
like doing any remaking with.
Of course, Cloud was pretty bad at it. He got Squall, who's the emo Tumblr kid. Nobody
Well,
gets me.
apparently in the Japanese game, he has a lot more dialogue.
Oh, wait a minute. Conceptualize my amazement.
So like apparently just really fun. I'm not saying that it would have been any better because the story is still a hot mess, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I going back and playing some of them, 12 is a lot better than I remember it being, although I think it's because there was so much politics in 12 that I didn't really get it when I was 14.
Wait a minute. 12 is the one with all the random British accents, right?
12 is Star Wars the Final Fantasy, yes.
That game bothers me because Vaughn and Pinello don't have accents, yet their princess has an accent.
Eh.
And then you got a random German accent over here. You got an Italian accent here. You got a Welsh accent here. You got a bunch of British accents here. It's French.
Look. You can't trash a game that has handsome British Han Solo and sexy bunny girl Chewbacca. Fuck off. You can't make fun of that game.
I can.
Well, you're not going to do it successfully, at least not to me.
I just didn't really get into the plot. It's just like,
oh, with Fran, you definitely get to the plot.
wow. Only bright spot of that game for me. It's just like Penelope, I didn't really like her as a character. She just shows up and we're like, go away.
To be fair, I don't even think Vaughn was meant to be the main character in that game either.
No, technically speaking, Ash is supposed to be the main character. He's just an observer and this postmodernist bullshit. He's just telling the story of the main character. Like, why?
Well, I think the original main character was supposed to be Bosch, wasn't it?
I don't even know. The game is just I can't.
But like I said, it really was Star Wars in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, I'm never going to say anything nice about 13. I'll say a few things nice about 13 too, but I'll never say anything nice about any game that Lightning is the main character in.
Oh, you mean Final Shotokan?
I still cannot understand why Japan thinks Lightning is so great. Although, actually, you know what? Japan loves a depressing ship. Now I absolutely know why they like Lightning.
Actually, she'd probably be another candidate for what the trope I call Mean Girl Syndrome, where the main heroine has no personality. She's either an
ice queen. That's just main character syndrome in general, yeah.
Well, here's a trope as I explain it. Like with harem series, you have like Mocha from Rosario plus Vampire, where her only redeeming quality is she was nice. Don't you understand? She was nice to me when no one else was.
Even though it's like everybody else is pretty nice, it's just they actually have a personality beyond it.
Or you got the opposite. There's this manhwa I read once. I wish I'd never read it. Girls of the Wilds, where the main character is perpetually a cock, holding his girlfriend's purse, and the girlfriend he chooses is a one called Queen, who has no personality at all. She's just like serious.
But the real question is she hot?
I guess she's hot, but not really my type.
Well, then, you know, for any average guy, you're just taking what you get.
Yeah, let me try and find a picture of her.
That's the thing. If you really think about it, is there really any bad choice in a harem anime? From a regular guy's perspective, no. The difference is when you have the ability to choose, of course we're going to argue that shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's be honest. If we were in the situation, if any one of them came up to us, I'd be like, yeah, I'm taking it and running.
Yeah,
You
well,
give me any of the main cast from Infinite Stratos season 1, I'll just take a look around and be like, the first one that comes up to me, I'm running with this because I don't think it's getting any better.
Charlotte. Charlotte or Laura?
Look, I got 1 in 5 odds. I'll take my chances.
All right, let's hit this one.
I got a 1 in 5 chance of not getting Rin. I'll take that chance.
Well, I kind of like Rin.
I can't. I can't. I can't.
Well, I also go for Tsundere.
I can't stand like the raspy, like always angry voice.
Well, I also go for Tsundere. So,
Yeah, but that's what Hoki's for.
she's too much of a. She just doesn't do it for me. She's like,
Although realistically, I don't even think there's really that much of a heavy Tsundere in Infinite Stratos to begin with.
no, they're more. They go too far to the yandere. As soon as they hear one girl's made progress, here they come with their guns or swords and trying to kill him.
Or in the case of Laura, she actually thinks that, it's very loving that she's put Ichika in a fucking armbar while she's naked. Still my favorite thing.
Laura's just weird.
That's still my favorite scene just for the stupidity of it, where like Hoki walks in the room and she sees like basically a naked 12-year-old with the guy that she likes in an armbar, even though she hits him, which is amazing because that's harem logic. But just for the fact that she says, and I don't know what it is in Japanese, I know what it is in English because I watched the dub of it, and Laura just says, "How dare you interrupt a married couple?"
I know. She's always calling Ichika her wife,
Yeah, her bride.
her bride.
That's the thing. It's one of the very few shows that I will watch the English dub rather than the sub, because just having I know they're like campy accents, but they're fucking funny because of that.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's not a correct German accent, but god damn it, it's a funny accent, and I'll take
So I
it.
posted a side chat what Queen looks like, and I guess she just never did for me.
Well, I need to see a little bit more, but I can definitely see why anybody would take that. But then again, this is also anime, so you take anything that's basically a main character because it's guaranteed to be done properly.
It's not really an anime. It's like one of those webtoon type manga things.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking the art style,
Yeah, I just didn't like her. That series almost killed manhwa for me until I found the breaker. Of course, you don't read manga.
I was gonna say you might as well be speaking Japanese to me at this point. So
yeah, well, there's a manhwa. Basically, it's Korean manga. Basically,
yeah,
it's called The Breaker, and it's basically about like a world of like powerful martial arts that no one knows about. And its main character, he's like bullied all the time. He meets this guy is like a dangerous assassin type person, and he learns martial arts around the end of the first volume, or well, the first series, I should say. The guy takes away his powers, and so he could go back to a normal life against the kid's will.
Yeah.
But the kid eventually gets his powers back in the second series. It kind of restored my faith in manhwa a little bit. That and The Gamer. The Gamer is a really good series. Basically, the main character, he gets accused of raising flags with girls all the time. Because he's got the gamer ability. Basically levels up like he's in a video game. But speaking of manga, I'll tell you about the most fucked up thing I saw this week. There's this one about it's an isekai where this guy gets summoned to another world with his house, and his house is basically a Tsukumogami. And last chapter, he fucked his house.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
He literally fucked his house. And the house is pregnant. I am so confused right now.
I mean, I don't have an answer now because I'm weirded out by it. I'm just like I don't know what to say other than it's anime. It's Japan. It's nothing surprising to me anymore.
I know I should accept that it's just Japan, but he fucked his house and the house got pregnant. And because the house is
Okay,
pregnant, his house
but
has a
here's the
second
question:
story.
what's the house going to give birth to? A baby house or just a shed?
I don't know. I don't want to know. But because the house is pregnant,
The
there's like
house,
a second
the house
story
has a
now.
baby. It's just an extra bedroom. The bedroom becomes an anime girl. Oh my god! It's a house harem anime. Each room's trying to fuck the main character.
Oh Jesus!
Although, you know what? No, I'm turning this idea around because I know what the bathroom one's going to be into. No, 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 no. Staying away from this. I'm backing out. I'm backing out, man.
Oh Jesus!
Because you know what? For all the kinks and stuff, I'm staying away from the bathroom and the kitchen because those are no, I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's just like
That's another thing too. The only downside to especially like a lot of a harem stuff, especially like one of the things I've never gotten is like the overwhelming like mess of like food. It's like when a girl's like covered in whipped cream and stuff. I'm like, that's a waste of whipped cream. It's
yeah,
like put that on a fucking cake.
that's what never did for me. It just seems kind of weird.
Well, it's like you see those classic things where it's like the girl's got her breast like covered in like whipped cream shaped as a heart with a strawberry on top. I'm like, why? That could have gone like you could have taken that whipped cream and put that in like an eclair or something. Like, come on, don't no
I don't know.
no no.
Jeez.
Like use something that I wouldn't care about. Put Nutella on there. I'll never eat Nutella. Just waste that. Get some cheese whiz.
And here's
Get some marmalade.
this
I don't know.
harem series I really enjoy. Isekai no Biri Noka. There's some guy, he dies like of illness and at the age of 39, so he gets reincarnated to another world. And all he wants to do is be a farmer.
Oh, wasn't that the one that you were telling me that literally he's trying to avoid everything and then it just keeps happening to him?
Yeah, or basically this harem, they just keep throwing himself out here. And he's like, I just want to sleep. Stop fucking me. It's just like, yeah, because he's a polite Japanese person. When a girl offers him sex, he politely accepts it. This is like, oh, jeez.
Oh man. I'm kind of like wanting this season now. I'm loving it, but yet the level of stress that this season has given me because like I gave so many shows way too much time this season that I should not have done.
I don't know.
I
Well,
finally dropped Angels of Death because I don't know what the fuck I was thinking keeping that around as long as I did.
well, the only one I really stuck with was Cells at Work.
Yeah, Cells at Work I'm still really impressed that is stuck around because I thought it would get old.
How can it get old? You got platelets, the most adorable thing of the season.
Well, the thing is, like they basically go through almost the same format every week, but the comedy is so well on point.
And it's a good excuse to have Hanakana do her panicky sounds.
Well, I mean that, and it's actually really educational in a way.
Like the cancer episode where Toma becomes cancer.
Well, that and like, did you ever? What was the name of the show?
Osmosis Jones.
No. I'm gonna quickly pull up Crunchyroll, but it's a show that was a bunch of shorts, but it would talk about like mental diseases and stuff.
Uh,
That was also like again, it does the same thing. It talks about like and it does talk about a lot more like extreme stuff. Like it does, I think it does actually have an episode on like pedophilia,
oh.
or at least something like of that extent. But they treat it with like they straight up tell you, yeah, it's pretty fucking awful. But they also like do a really good job of making fun of it.
So they did the opposite of what Vice did.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't take
Where they pick
much.
some guy who's in prison for child molestation and some here because he fights Nazis.
Yeah.
But this guy fights the Aryan Brotherhood who, because part of the initiation is they go beat the shit out of pedophiles and try to kill them. So he just made the Aryan Brotherhood look good. That's a sad thing. These people think they're trying to make the Aryan Brotherhood look bad because they kill pedophiles in prison.
There it is. On Crunchyroll, it's called Comical Psychosomatic Medicine.
That's a complicated name.
I don't know what it's in Japanese. I'm sure it's even more complicated. But let's see. First episode is about erectile dysfunction, so that tells you you're not fucking around. Second point is Lolita complex. So yeah, that's what they call it as pedophilia.
Except, I don't know if it's really pedophilia because I remember in Seitokai Yakuin Domo, the legal lolly, Suzu, whatever her name is, the short one, she gets angry because his sister called him a pedophile. She prefers the term lolicon because it means underage girl instead of child. Yeah. Because Suzu's got a complex about her height and all that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, because I think all the episodes are like 5-7 minutes. Like they're really good, like just mental health kind of teaching tools that are just really fucking funny.
Yeah, I'm doing really bad about trying to get caught up on my backlog of stuff.
That's the thing. Every time I look at what's in my queue, I keep staring at it, being like, I don't even know where to start, and then if I even can start.
Yeah, it's a miracle I've been keeping up with sales at work.
Like I'm still staring at the Monogatari series scene. Like I know I want to watch this. I know I need to watch this. I do not have time to watch this.
I know. I get started on Monogatari, and well, it's like really heavy. It's like something you can't really binge.
Like that, I've been really wanting to watch. Gatchaman Crowds, I've heard a lot of good things about, and I haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah. Well, one person I know is a fan of the Gatchaman series, but he doesn't like it.
I've still got to finish Log Horizon. That's another thing, too.
Oh, man, you need to finish it. Log Horizon is one of those series it's one of those people that don't like Sword Art Online.
Well, yeah, it's basically Sword Art Online without all the shit.
Yeah. Because basically you got people acting like adults instead of a bunch of hormonal teenagers deciding to kill everyone.
I feel like either somebody's been on my account or accidentally hit something because there's no goddamn way Boruto is on my fucking queue.
Yeah,
get out. Out.
And you know my stance on Boruto. That series is basically the GT of Naruto.
No, I'm just going to say straight up, I don't give a shit about Naruto because I don't have time to go through 900 episodes of crap.
Yeah, but I read the manga, I'd wait for every chapter to release and just read it. And here's the thing I hate about Naruto. Hinata is barely in the series. Her relationship with Naruto is basically one-sided. And somehow that's grounds for her to end up with the main character when she's got no character development. And of course, all these fans, they call Sakura a slut because she was giving up on Sasuke because she was really realizing he's an asshole. And somehow that makes her a whore because she's moved on from a boy that she was never in a relationship with. Because that's the thing that pisses me off about Final Fantasy VII. People always call Aerith a slut because she moved on from Zack and was starting to get into a relationship with Cloud. Like,
I would have just said, "Who gives a fuck?"
Yeah,
but that's just me.
But that's kind of stupid. It's implied that Zack disappeared 2 years ago. She's assumed he's dead. She's had time to grieve, and she's probably moving on with her life. Just because he's dead doesn't mean she has to give up on life.
I mean, I would always just say, too, it's like, don't pretend that any one of us have ever thought at any point, whether in a relationship or not, about just betting somebody else.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a guy, by the way. Any male journalism out there that's pulling this shit, don't fucking tell me that especially if you're into women, don't tell me that you have never thought at any point in time, whether you're dating someone or not, that you look at just any other random girl on the street that you think is mildly attractive and went, man, I wonder what that would be like. That is a daily occurrence for almost anybody on this fucking planet. Stop pretending that, just because a character after 2 years or so of losing someone suddenly decides that they're interested in somebody else. Don't bother me with that shit.
Yeah, that's what really pissed me off. They kept calling Aerith a slut because she's moved on with her life. Like, Jesus Christ, her boyfriend, she's assumes is dead, which he was.
Which, by the way, yeah, the girl who's dressed the most conservatively is probably the sluttiest one. Sure, sure. Tifa, the one that we
No,
basically drawn as being the big-breasted booby girl. That's all we know her for.
I don't
Like,
know.
really, that's the one that you're not pointing out.
Yeah, one of the people I know that kept calling Aerith a slut, she basically believed that Reno and Rude were gay lovers.
You don't know that.
Yeah. Reno, from my analysis of his character, he's probably like that pretty boy that hits on any woman he sees.
I don't know. I've seen him in Having Children where he always seems to have his tongue out. He looks like he's just waiting for a dick.
Maybe.
But either way, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't understand. It just like
Yeah.
I said earlier. I don't get why someone's sexual preferences or their sexuality means anything in a game.
I don't know. But the
Like
Yaoi fangirls, they piss me off because they're basically the reason why I never watched Sayuki because they kept forcing their bullshit into the show. Like, just let me enjoy something without you ruining with your gay bullshit.
it's just straight up. It's like if I gave a shit about who's fucking who, I mean that's what I have Mass Effect for. I get to choose that myself.
I know. But Fujoshi just ruined everything. They're like, they have to insert their gay head canons, and people are like, they try to do that with the new Voltron series that Netflix made because they're
Yeah,
trying to force a ship that they want. And recently, there's some Fujoshi is trying to force like gay relationships with Boku no Hero Academia.
yep.
And it's like, you bitches do realize that there are Shonen I series you can go into. Stop trying to mess with like normal Shonen.
They can do whatever they want to show, and I don't watch it.
I know, but it's just like one of those things that annoys me. Like, because there is Shonen I out there that they can go check out. With it's just like, well, it's sort of like my view on like series. Like, crap, I can't remember where I was going with this, but well, yeah, like with comic books, you see how they're trying to insert all this Tumblr bullshit into it. And I use like shoujo manga as my example. I read shoujo manga for a normal romance story about a boy and a girl falling in love. I don't want to see a harem. I don't want to see kung fu fights where people fire ki blasts at each other. I just want to read a normal romance story. Marvel seems to think they need to insert all this coming out story, Tumblr bullshit about gender politics into something that's supposed to be about superheroes.
Because gender is more important than superhero stuff.
I know, because they took the character of Iceman from X Men and decided, oh, he's going to be gay now, even though he's been known to give girls the dick left and right. And we're going to give it to this young adult author so he can tell his own coming out story through the character of Iceman. And that's one of those reasons why people hate Marvel right now because they keep ruining these characters with this bullshit. Like there's the character America Chavez. I just taken to calling her lesbian Lopez because that's all she really is. She's a Hispanic lesbian who's not really Hispanic.
I don't know when it comes to the way that whether it's in video games, whether it's comics, whether it's television, whether it's whatever the fuck. I mean, the idea of trying to change the the sexuality, even the color, like of all these characters, it's like we live in an age where Spider-Man has Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Why can't there be two Icemen?
I don't know.
We're in an age where people want to have a female James Bond, but they don't want to have to create their own character to do it.
I know. They also want Idris Elba to be James Bond because it's time. Because hashtag it's time.
I think when it comes to James Bond, you can get away with changing color because it's still a man, and James Bond's a spy. You're not supposed to know his identity anyway, so that can work for you. A female James Bond is literally a new character because I don't think I've ever heard of a woman who's named James.
Well, there's Ryan Reynolds named his daughter James.
Yeah, but celebrity kids don't count. Celebrity kids couldn't be bothered to make a normal name for anything.
I know.
At this point, celebrity kids just need to be happy they get named after fruit and not vegetables. That way, we're not walking around seeing a bunch of carrots
or directions.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, or really weird names like Blue Ivy. Like, just give your kid a normal name.
I keep saying it. If you're going to give them shitty names, just make it their middle name. Like, I love Penn Jillette. At least he's smart enough to give his kid, like, really silly middle names. Like, I think one of his kids' middle names is literally Crime Fighter. I'm going to look this up because I know I'm right on this. I just don't know specifically the girl's full name. I need to find out now because it's fucking funny. But at least that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, just like, you realize your children are not going to be probably not going to be celebrities. You're going to make their life a living hell.
Actually, no, I lied. Both his kids' names are not that great either. His kids' names are Zoltan and Moxie Crime Fighter Gillette.
Jeez.
I'm like, ugh. I mean, Moxie's like not the worst name, but it does sound like a stripper, so not the best.
No, not a great look.
All right, I feel like I have to do it. Worst celebrity child names. Oh dear.
Oh boy.
Well, let's see just how bad down the rabbit hole we go. Oh, that's fucking terrible. First one right off the bat. I've never heard of the guy, but his name is Rob Morrow, and he named his kid Two.
Oh, jeez.
So the kid's name is Tomorrow.
Oh, God.
Come on.
I remember Nicolas Cage named his son Kal-El. Like, why would you do that to your kid?
Yeah, there we go. Penn Gillette's kid name is there. Moxie Crime Fighter Gillette. Son of a bitch.
Why would you do that to your child? They didn't do anything to you yet. You're just sure that they're probably going to kill you one day.
Jason Lee is a kid named Pilot Inspector. What? Like, no. But yeah, there you go. Nicolas Cage's kid being Kal-El. Yeah.
Why would you do that to your son?
Well, he's going to be super when he's a man.
Why?
Never heard of these people, but they have a kid named, and this is a long one, Heavenly Hirani Tiger Lily. Here's an idea. Just call her Lily. Save the trouble. Okay, so a Pilot Inspector got beaten. Audio Science.
Oh!
What is wrong with people?
Well, don't you know that they're celebrities and they're special in every fucking way?
Of course, Michael Jackson's Blanket. Of course. Forgot about Blanket. And and his brother, Jermaine Jackson, he named his kid Your Majesty.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, there's the classic Chris Martin, Gwyneth Paltrow naming their kid Apple. That's fucking par for the course now. I don't even think that counts anymore. That's normal. Toni Braxton named her kid Denim, as in jeans. Toni Braxton also named one of her kids Diesel. Well, I guess Kevin Nash has got competition. There's a kid named Banjo. Poor bastard. Oh, Stallone, why? He has a kid named Sage Moonblood. That sounds like a Twilight character. Oh my god.
Now that you mentioned Twilight, can we just say that Stephanie Meyer's owes anyone that likes vampires an apology for what she did to vampires?
There was a crazy stat that I saw where at one point over the course of I think it was like a 3-year span or something, 1 out of every 5 books that were sold were written by her, which is just downright frightening.
Yeah.
Oh, that's acceptable. The Korn lead singer, he has a son named Pirate. I'm like, you know what? It's Korn. There was never going to be coming anything interesting into that one. I'll let somebody name their kid Rebel. That's not the worst thing.
Yeah. We need to
Andre
wait.
three, Andre 3000 named a kid Seven. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's dumb. Yeah, Kevin Smith actually has a kid named Harley Quinn. I don't see what the problem with that is.
Nah, Harley Quinn's a normal name.
Okay, well, somebody named their kid Camera, but I mean, you could just call her Camara. Like, it's not that's not terrible.
Yeah.
Like, that could be worse. David Duchovny named his kid literally kid, but with a Y.
Why you do this?
Woody Allen and Mia Farrow named a kid Satchel.
Uh,
I guess he's going to be carried around the rest of his life.
and then some.
Jamie Oliver has a kid named Buddy Bear. Ugh. Okay. Frank Zappa. I don't really give a shit what name they give it. It's Frank Zappa. You have to expect the weirdest shit when it's Frank fucking Zappa. He has a kid named Diva Thin Muffin.
What?
But it's Frank Zappa, so I'm honestly not surprised.
The funny thing about Frank Zappa is he's probably the only one that ever said anything.
He has a kid named Moon Unit. I forgot about that. That's an Austin Powers fucking joke.
Here's the thing about Frank Zappa. He probably said the smartest thing about communism ever. The problem with communism is that people like to own things.
Yeah. Oh, that poor kid. I mean, not to mention that he's already the son of Ashley Simpson and Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy. So that's already like, you're already not having the best time ever. The kid's name is Bronx Mowgli.
Why?
Ugh. All right, I'm done. I got through the 35, or I got through the 33 random names that they threw up. Yeah, there's the. I'm looking at another list. There's the Blue Abbey you were talking about.
Do they really hate their children that much?
Yeah.
Why would you do that to your children? They gotta go through life with those weird names.
Let's see. What else? What else? Is there anything else? I'm starting to get repetition, so I don't know if I'm going to get much else. I think we've hit the best. I don't think we're getting much better. Oh, right, Northwest, of course. Well, that's fucking obvious. All right, I'm done with this because I'm about to go on a fucking rant. I'm sorry, but these websites that do this fucking slideshow bullshit with their lists, I swear to God, these sites need to be shut down.
Yep.
If you have a top 10 and I have to click more than 20 times to finish your top 10, you fucked up. Actually, you know what? If I have to click more than once, you fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's who's to blame for that bullshit.
Well, it's the click value, right? Like that's all they care about. They're keeping you on the page. So you might see a couple ads by the time it's done.
Click our ads, click our ads, click our ads.
It's like, or here's an idea. How about you offer a product that I'm willing to actually support? There's also that, but I mean, that's hard. That's too much work.
Yeah.
What else? There was every time I see an article like this, I laugh because like the title of this article is simply "Why do gamers still buy physical games?" I'm like, have you ever seen why that people own physical games? Like, just have you never asked a person? I could think of 3 reasons right off the bat. 1, collectors. 2, people that actually like having them in their hands rather than hoping to God that, you know, their account doesn't get compromised and they lose everything. And then 3, I don't know, because people still don't have amazing internet and maybe can't download a 60 gigabyte game in fucking 2 weeks.
Well, it took me most of yesterday to get Guilty Gear download on my PlayStation 4 and PS4. They got terrible networking.
Like if you're you know, a kid living out in the fucking sticks out in farmland in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, and you want to play Grand Theft Auto 5, you're fucked.
Well, see, my internet isn't
digital, you're screwed.
Well, I'm in a rural area. My internet's not really that slow, but it takes forever to download anything on my PlayStation.
Well, like, what's your top download supposed to be?
Uh, let me let me get the TV. Just a minute.
Because I mean, I'll go on while he's figuring out what's going on. I mean, here in Canada, like, I feel like the we get the short end of the stick here because it's every time I look, I see like what the internet is like in the States, and it seems like you guys get like 5 times what we get. Of obviously Google Fiber being more prevalent in the States is obviously a big factor too.
Could you repeat what you said because I had my headphones off?
Oh, that's fine. I was just saying on the stream here, just in case that people were hearing, like, just the fact that you're in Canada, I think we get fleeced pretty bad when it comes for internet because I look at what gets offered just randomly from the States, and like it's just incredible. Like, you guys get a much better deal on this shit than we do.
Yeah. See, my connection speed download is 21.9 megabytes per second, and upload is 3.5. But when I was downloading a game, it was like 5 at best.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm looking at just like base packages in the States. Like, you guys get offered 1 gigabytes in some areas for only $90 American, which here in Canada we be paying almost $200 for that shit.
Yeah.
Which is just insane because apparently it's really hard for us to somehow get internet. It's the same reason why, for whatever reason, like, everything we get has to be paid on a massive premium. I'm like, yeah, I know the dollar is a little weaker compared to the States, but that doesn't necessarily mean that anything we import all of a sudden has to get doubled in price.
I think a lot of it has to do with PlayStation's network because it's like if I download it on my PlayStation, not my PlayStation, but on my PC, it'd be going at the speed that it should be. But for some reason on PlayStation Network, when you download, it's like really slow.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm about to do a speed test just to test it now. I'm supposed to be getting at most 100 megabytes per second. We'll see how that works. The problem is my upload was always supposed to be 10, and it never hits that.
Yeah. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
like, I'm doing it now. My right now my Wi-Fi is lucky to hit 30.
Yeah.
So I'm basically not even getting half of what I'm paying for.
Well, I have my
granted, it's also because I'm on Wi-Fi and it's a cable internet, so I guess it's like that, and I'm also not plugged in. So
yeah, my PlayStation is plugged in to the router where by a cord.
Oh, I get it. I'm not. I'm on my upload is almost perfectly at 10 megabytes per second, but if I do it myself, I'm lucky to hit 3. I see how it is. That's irritating.
Yeah.
I used to do a couple of streams I was hosting on my channel, and I swear to God, like, I would listen to them back, and so often my voice is conking out on them on the stream. I'm like, that's fucking irritating. It's not even like I'm playing video. It's just audio. I'm like, how is it that hard?
I don't know. It's just really weird.
It's 2018.
And of course, we have stupid shit like net neutrality, and people are losing their mind, think it's going to affect.
Yeah, at least here we can still make memes.
Well, net neutrality is voted down, thankfully, because here's what. But the UK, the Europeans, they had to fuck up the internet. Way to go! Sargon Show wore a bear suit.
Yeah.
Because that's a joke. Because he was making a big deal about how Jim probably doesn't own a suit. And we saw Sargon's suit, how it looks like he just got off the rack and his tie's horrible. Let me see. I gotta find the one of the things. Because they're basically saying he looks like an Applebee's waiter.
Jesus.
I try to find it. But it's just like. Even V is saying that Sargon probably should have said that because it made him look kind of petty. Can't find it for some reason. Well, Twitter, they probably banned the person that's making the joke.
Well, it's not like social media has ever had a history of taking shit down. Never.
I know.
Never.
But I remember when net neutrality's going to be put up for a vote a while back. People are losing their minds. And it's like, you do realize we had internet before net neutrality, right? Net
No, I don't.
neutrality,
I don't think anybody remembers that. They just assumed it was always hateful.
I know, because they're like, and these companies will be charging extra left and right. And like, no, they're not. You stupid moron. Things are going to be the same as it was. Hell, I remember before net neutrality, we saw Pirate Bay. Not Pirate Bay, Kick Ass Torrents. And these people were just losing their minds about it, like uh, thinking that's going to affect people like PewDiePie. PewDiePie's like an Italy. It's never going to affect him.
Yeah.
It's like net neutrality is a stupid American thing that Obama put in put in to make it look like he was doing something.
It's just me sitting here in Canada being like, I'm glad I'm not involved in any of this fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Here's
That may change, but at least right now I'm enjoying the quietness
yeah.
here.
Well, see, a lot of these internet companies would originally fell under like the FTC, like that's how who regulated the internet before, and then FCC took over, and these companies like Google and then are basically monopolies. They want to be under the FCC because the FTC can't come in and break them up.
Yeah.
Because the FTC is basically breaks up monopolies. These places are monopolies. And Google, I just don't really care for them after all the things I've heard, starting with James Damore and all that. They're just
Well, I
not.
think realistically speaking, it's just any major, so especially company that has any relation to social media, I think you just can't trust anymore.
Yeah. And then I'm not exactly a big fan of Alex Jones, but what they did to him was like total bullshit. They just made him more popular because now he's taboo.
I think that's the challenge in that too, right? Is like if you look at his content, yeah, he really shouldn't have the platform at the level that he does. But I mean, that's just the way our market works.
I know.
If people want to watch, they're gonna watch.
Yeah, his stuff is a lot more honest than like the mainstream media because they keep talking about this Manafort trial bullshit and thinking we finally got Trump. Like the whole trial, if you listen to Sticks Hexenhammer or Tim Pool, was about stuff that Manafort did way before he met Trump. How do you have Trump now when the whole trial is about something he did before he was working with Trump?
Because if we can't write stories about Trump, the story is just well, there's no story.
I know, but
That's how that's legit. It is. It's just they have to make it relate to Trump because that's all they had.
I know.
When
Well,
you're a
that,
dying medium, that's all you got. You might as well just keep the boogeyman story going.
I know. It's just kind of sad that they just don't want to be honest. Yeah, but someone like Sticks who goes on camera wearing a leather jacket and no shirt with his long hair, and he's more honest as a journalist than these people are. It's a sad state of affairs.
Well, I mean, you think about it. I mean, you go back to the days of like your Walter Cronkites, like newscasters and journalists weren't expected to have the personality; they were just expected to tell the truth.
Yeah,
So it's a catch-22. I mean, obviously, things being a lot more fiery and a lot more personality based do help. The problem is the cost of that means we're going to have less honesty. So I mean, you go back and watch newscasts from the '70s, like that's what news was when it was still honest.
yeah. Just my mom still watches like the evening news, and I just get annoyed with it all the time. Like, God damn, these people, they just can't be honest. Because that's about all I really would like from these people is to be honest. Because a lot of it is just that they're pissed off that they rigged the election to get Hillary in, and they still lost. That's
I
what it really
mean,
is.
all theories aside, I mean, at the end of the day, I equate because the same thing's going on here right now in my province with the premier that we've elected for the province of Ontario. It's the same kind of deal. Like they're treating him the same way that the states treat Trump. I'm not saying that I support everything Trump does, or I'm not supporting everything that, for those who live in Ontario, Canada, know, I don't support everything Doug Ford does. But the thing is, what the left is doing right now is the equivalent of what happens when you watch a football game and it's the Patriots and the Steelers, and the Patriots lose. And the Patriot fans are going around and complaining that, oh, the refs didn't call this right. This was bullshit. Obviously our guy was injured. We couldn't do. What you're seeing right now from the left is a refusal to just admit that they lost.
Yeah.
The reality is the conservatives in Canada, and in the case of the states with Trump, the Republicans won. I'm not saying that at that time they were the better team, but in that very moment they won that game. They may not be the ones who would win the entire season. If it was a best of 7, I'm not saying the Republicans would have won the election. But what I'm saying is, in this instance, you lost. Take the loss like a fucking man, or take the loss like a grown adult for that matter.
I know. I guess it's come out that Google was trying to they were trying to manipulate like the Hispanics, trying to get them to vote for Hillary, and that's the funny thing is, they always forget this thing about Mexicans. Like, they fucking hate illegal aliens. Always, because they actually have a word for wetbacks in Spanish. They call them mojados.
And the thing is, too, like, if you're thinking from a mind of someone who is properly immigrated from Mexico, for example, like they hate these people because all they've done is they've brought like a stigma to them. Like, now everybody looks at them like they must be illegal too. It's like, of course you'd be pissed off.
And the way people flipped out because Trump said that MS-13, they're not people, they're animals. Like, and they
Yeah,
have
but wasn't he referring to illegals though, and not specifically?
No, he's talking about MS-13 because he specifically said MS-13 before he said that these people are animals or something like that. I can't get the quote right.
Oh, I just Googled because I've never heard the term before. Okay, now I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, those kind of cartel guys with their faces all tattooed up. Like, and then Chuck Schumer comes out and says, MS-13 are like our great grandparents. No. Like, my great grandparents' parents immigrated here from Russia legally. They're like Volga River Germans.
But don't tell people that. Remember, you just look white.
Yeah. But that's just like, how can you say that when you see these people with their faces all covered tattoos? I was at Walmart one day. There was this Mexican guy with his face all tattooed up, like one of these people. I was afraid to look at him. I was afraid to make eye contact. That's what these people.
To be fair, I don't even know if I'd be afraid to look at them because of threats of violence. I'd be afraid to look at them because I feel like whatever's going on with them might be contagious.
But these people flip out every time someone says something about like legal immigrants that's racist. Like, Irish people are illegal immigrants too.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a simple issue that people are sick and tired of, people coming in and not following the rules. Like, that's literally all it is. Like, most of the people that are against the stuff, it's not because they hate people, it's just because they did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And people are getting a free pass. And in fact, some people are getting a better life by breaking the rules.
And here's the thing about some of these people. They've been here for like 20 years. They have adult children now. And they're acting like they did nothing wrong. You could have applied for citizenship status in any of those 20 years.
Not to mention that a lot of those haven't even learned English properly either.
I know. Like, hate to bring up the Kumite again because I'm a fanboy, but 3 weeks ago on the Kumite failure, he's a Cuban. And he mentions how he hates to go into the Spanish part of Miami. Because, go do my best impersonation of him. This motherfucker's been here for 30 years and he still doesn't speak English. because failure probably doesn't like to speak Spanish all the time.
Well, that's just it, right? Like, I don't care where you're coming from. I don't, unless you're like stupid old. If you are especially under the age of 65, I don't give a fuck. If you come into our country, wherever you go, whether it's Canada, whether it's the States, whether it's fucking Russia, Japan, England, France, Germany, whatever the fuck. If you're in that country longer than 5 years and you have never made an effort to learn a lick of English or a lick of the main language of that country, why are you even there?
Yeah. Reminds me of when that whole shithole country's controversy happened. They're trying to say that Trump was racist because he would rather have immigrants from like Norway or parts of Europe instead of places like Mexico or Haiti. And the way I look at it is like probably because the people from Norway have some kind of like science degree. They're not going to be.
I go even beyond that. They have money.
They have money. They're not going to be leeching off the system. They're probably got education. They're going to be applying.
Not even the fact that they'd be leeching. It's just they have money, which means the economy keeps going.
Yeah, but also there's the fact that we don't need any more janitors. I can't believe I did that.
Something will have to clean up the robot mess.
I know, but I can't believe I did that because I always complained about when Obama said that if we did have these immigrants who would be cleaning our hotel rooms and picking our produce. Like, oh, I can't believe you said that. As if Mexicans only exist to do that. I found that completely racist. That's the thing about the far left that gets under my skin. They're so racist without realizing that they're racist.
Well, no, I guarantee that the vast majority of them actually know they are, but they can't admit it because that would obviously ruin their platform.
Yeah, it would. It's just like
Either that, or at one point they knew, and then they've did such a good job of convincing themselves that they're not.
I remember I used to watch this show on Fox News called The Five. Bob Beckel was like a campaign organizer, worked with Jimmy Carter. He had said something about immigration laws are racist against brown people. Or like, brown people? What do you mean by brown people? Just like, it's just like these people, they don't even realize that the Mexican immigrants are trying to protect. They don't even like these people. Because I bet they're like, what the fuck is Hector doing here? He's a murderer. Because you know that there's probably those legal Mexicans that see someone that they know from back home that shouldn't be here because of their criminal record.
It's really hard to say much more. I mean,
yeah,
it's an issue that's just never going to go away because the reality is the second that you try to put more restrictions on things, people will get upset. The second you're more lenient, the other side will get upset. It really does not matter what you do. All that's really going to happen is that as the governments flip back and forth, things are going to tighten up, then it's going to get loose again. Then they'll be tightened up again, and then it'll be loosened again. It's always going to be like that. And I think with the way that, people are starting to... there is an absolute lack of people having any desire to want to meld with the culture they're coming into.
I know. Remember someone mentioned something about how people need I think it was John Tron saying that immigrants need to assimilate to the culture they moved into, and Destiny, being the midget brainlet he is, starts going, "What's American culture then?" Blah, blah, blah. Like, well, it's probably speaking the language of the people so you can communicate with them. Well, probably not turning where a neighborhood you moved into a miniaturized version of the country you fled from in the first place.
Because, I mean, the reality is this. Especially if you're coming from asylum, you have left a place that you have deemed a place you can no longer live in for a multitude of reasons. It's not just, there's, for most people, it has nothing to do with just the violence. It has to do with the fact that they can't survive there. They can't make money there. The culture there is wrong. They just don't belong. They can't be there without the expectation they're going to die, basically, one way or another. You're going to a place that is safer, that has more opportunities for you, that gives you the ability to do whatever you want to do. You can be as free, especially coming into a place like Canada, like the US, England, whatever the fuck. You have the opportunity to come to a place where you have never been more free, and you choose the second that you walk into that country to do everything in your power to make sure that now everybody else around you is not as free as they are, but to be as free as you once were.
Yeah.
For the people that come in, like, for example, and I'm not just cherry picking here, but the people that come here and try to enact Sharia law, for example,
Yeah.
you literally left that shit because it was dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden you're trying to push it in the country that you escaped to. Like, where's the sensibility on this?
I know. Like, I've heard these stories about like the Sharia patrols in like England, and they go around picking fights with Romanians because they've been drinking. I would be picking fights with someone that's been drinking. One of these days, they're going to pick a fight with some Irish people that have been drinking, probably get their heads kicked in. Because no one's more dangerous than an Irishman that's just been drinking all day. There I go with the stereotypes again. But
That's only a stereotype if it's actually true.
yeah, that's well, stereotypes have some root in reality. And then you hear these horror stories about the stuff that these so-called refugees got away with, and when they came to these countries, like the Rotterdam rapes.
I mean, those just go hand in hand with anything. I mean, realistically, a lot of people get away with a lot of anything.
I know, but
There's a multitude of reasons. I mean, it doesn't make either of them any good. I mean, the difference is honestly is that these are the ones that apparently it's outrageous if you criticize. That's the only difference.
I know, and
And I think that's what bothers me the most is that people literally will forego just admitting that the crimes committed were absolutely inhumane.
yeah, and then they railroad Tommy Robinson because they don't like what he's saying. Like, and if he got killed in prison, they would just made him a martyr. Strike me down, and I'll become more powerful than you could ever imagine.
At the end of the day, you're going to always hear things from different sides of the spectrum that you're just not going to like. There is a difference, however, between taking that and being able to look at it as something that you don't agree with and just setting it aside. And then there's the people that we see today where they take something they don't like and their first idea is to either punch that person or try to get their lives completely ruined so that they can never say anything ever again. Whatever has changed in the past 5 years specifically, we have gone away from a group of people who maybe were listening to each other, but at least could tell the difference between someone who, deserves to be put in jail, for example, and then someone who's just saying stupid shit and just should be ignored.
Yeah, it's sort of like the stupid Antifa idiots. And CNN every time they're brought up, you had Don Lemon bringing up the fact Antifa means anti-fascist. They're the good guys. They're fighting against fascism. Except for the fact that Antifa is kind of the reason why Hitler happened in the first place. They were picking.
It's just reality too that they're communists. It's like communists and fascists are not exactly good either way you look at it.
I know. It's like when the Charlottesville thing happened. I lost so much respect for people I used to talk to because they started this punch of Nazi bullshit. And like, one, those aren't Nazis. When I think about Nazis, I think about those guys with the shaved heads and probably have a swastika tattooed on top of their head. That wear leather, probably would do like crap. Forgot his name. The guy from American History X.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I couldn't tell you the
When he
name.
tells that guy to put his teeth on the curb.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think about like a neo-Nazi. Richard Spencer and these white nationalists, they're like the more polite white supremacists. They're like because a few while back, someone called Malcolm of the North. white supremacist, even though he's black.
Well, yeah,
And
that's how it
I
is.
keep, I just came with this idea of what a Canadian white supremacist is like. And it's like, I'm sorry, Jerome, but we must ask you to leave the neighborhood, or we're going to send you a strongly worded letter. Or like,
Well, I mean, well, you were mentioning Richard Spencer. I mean, those are still people that you definitely need to worry about, not because of what they believe in, but because Richard Spencer is also a rich boy who has power,
yeah, he has
who
influence.
knows people.
Yeah,
There are two different types of danger. Obviously, like you could take on both sides.
yeah.
I
But
mean, when it comes to say the white supremacist movement, I mean, obviously the foot soldiers are dangerous because they're the ones that can go and attack people.
yeah,
Richard Spencer is just as dangerous, but from a different kind of danger. He is politically dangerous. In the same way that Antifa is the boots on the ground dangerous, and then you have certain politicians like I can't think of the woman's name, but she's in
Ocasio
Parliament
Cortez.
in well no, but I'm talking like in British Parliament where she's literally like she's watched a guy talk about how they need to be putting awareness out for male suicide rates because it's higher than women, and she laughs in his face. Those are people that are just as dangerous because they have the political clout to do stuff.
Yeah.
Antifa is dangerous because they'll just fucking beat the shit out of random people just for what they believe in. She's the one that
Or
will
because they
actually put
wear
shit
red
into
hats.
law.
I know.
It's dangerous on both
Like,
ways. There's a reason, though, that we don't look at the alt-right as being anything that important is because they don't have really any leverage.
well, here's the thing about
They're,
Richard Spencer. No one had ever heard of him until the news started propping him up as a boogeyman.
I mean, it's not to say that he doesn't, that there's nothing dangerous about him. That's not untrue.
Yeah.
But
But
at
a
the end
lot
of
of
the day,
people didn't know who he
the
was.
numbers, like just look at what happened with Charlottesville this year. How many people showed up from the alt-right movement? How many people pulled up from, or how many people showed up from Antifa? The numbers are so staggeringly different that it's pretty obvious to me which movement is much more dangerous right now. I'm not saying the alt-right movement isn't dangerous, and I'm not saying it shouldn't be looked at, but there is a clear, definitive difference between 20 people and thousands.
Yeah. But here's the thing about Antifa. They're good when they're swarming people. They're like goblins. But the moment people go in with a strategy and sort of like that Portland thing that happened months ago, that Rufio guy, how I just caught that guy. I think that guy's still in a coma or something like that. The guy he hit.
Yeah.
Because he got knocked down, his head hit the ground, might cause brain damage or something like that. And that's the thing about Antifa. They're good when they got a bunch of people backing them up. If someone actually knows how to fight, they don't
Oh
have a
yeah, no, that's the thing too. Like I said, Antifa is dangerous because of their numbers.
yeah.
When you have 100+ people behind you that are more than willing to take shots too, yeah, you're going to be a little bit braver. If you put a single Antifa member in a room with a single white supremacist, it's going to might be a different result.
Yeah, like here's my analysis of Antifa. They probably would have become such a problem if like someone would just ate a jail sentence or something like that, just beat the crap out of a couple of them, like lunge at one, knock him down, bloody his face out, and just point at one random ones that you're next and went after him.
I don't think that's true. I think
Might,
it wouldn't. I don't think it would change anything because again,
but I might have scared them.
what Antifa has that the alt right movement doesn't is as like I said the numbers.
Yeah.
So
I'm not talking about the alt right. I'm talking like the normal people that don't want to be beaten to death by a bunch of stupid college kids that believe, oh yes, communism will work this time, comrade.
but again, you know, you're looking at a group of people that are very easy to organize because let's not mistake this. The left is capable of organizing so much far better than the right can. The right is too incompetent to be able to actually have a big movement. Charlottesville was literally the best they could come up with. That is what the real far right movement looks like because that's literally all they can get together.
Yeah.
Antifa on a random fucking Thursday afternoon could conjure more if they just put up flyers. That's all they need.
Yeah, a lot of them are
that much of an effort in.
a lot of them are just a bunch of idiots that don't know any better. Because I remember Sargon was telling someone at Berkeley about how communists have actually killed more people than the Nazis. And well, Stalin's reign had the biggest population growth. Like, yeah, motherfucker, if you kill a bunch of people, kill most of your population through starvation and executions, the only thing your population can do is increase.
Well, that's the thing too. When you got nothing going on over there, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna fuck a lot.
Yeah. See, during the election 2016, people kept calling Trump Hitler, and I was like, well, by that metrics, Hillary's going to be the next Stalin. And Stalin was a lot worse than Hitler. He's like, anyone that looked at him wrong, he just had him killed.
I mean, it's at the point now that it's just like, here's an idea. How about both are bad?
Yeah, that's how I always.
Let's stop having a dick measuring contest with everything.
Well, that's how I felt during Charlottesville the first time. I don't want to pick either side. You had the stupid National Socialists and you had the stupid fucking communists.
Well, that's why I was so dumb when people were criticizing what Trump said about that, where he said there was violence on both sides.
Yeah.
And people were like, how dare he say that? I'm like, well, he's not wrong.
Yeah, because he said that there were some good people there. What you meant were like the people that didn't go with either camp. They were just there because they didn't think
I still think the reality is, though,
they didn't.
There's still good people on both sides. The difference is that when you are a follower, you're going to end up, even a good person can do bad things.
Yeah. Well, also there's the fact that so those people at Charlottesville, they don't really agree with the racists. They just don't want to see our history being torn down to hide the truth of what happened in the past.
Well, that's the thing too, right? Like, I don't believe that everybody that's in a movement similar to what the alt-right has is necessarily white supremacists, so much as they see where the writing is on the wall.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with it. I don't think that we're a dying race. I also don't really care if we're going to be mixing, because if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. It doesn't really change shit to me. My life will still be the same. The only thing is that for some people, they see that as they're trying to kill me out.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who believes that, whether they're right or wrong, there's evidence, I think, to support both sides.
Well, here's the thing, how I always looked at like the Confederate statues. If you look at the way that the Northern generals conducted themselves during that war and how the Southern generals conducted themselves, the Southern generals actually had some modicum of understanding about rules of engagement. They didn't try to involve like innocent people. Meanwhile, you have because you hear all these stories about how Northern generals just killed like innocent people and burned down cities and all that. Like, and another thing about like Robert E. Lee, say what you want about him, but he's kind of integral to rebuilding the country after the war ended. Because as I understand it, like the president after Lincoln really fucked things up. And the war was about to start again. And General Lee kind of helped rebuild those bridges.
It's okay. We'll probably be having a civil war shortly.
I know. And here's I always look at all these far left little children think that they're going to win because, and I'm kind of doubt that they would win because most of them are afraid of guns.
I mean, make no mistake when I say this, though. Both sides are being extremely childish. When we're talking the extremes, both sides are absolutely being childish. The left is being childish about anything that they deem offensive. The right is being childish about thinking that anything that happens to them is a physical attack to them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, both sides need to just take the proverbial chill pill. But for the right, it's too much pride. For the left, it's just they don't listen.
Yep. Like, we can have a conversation because I'm not exactly far right, but I'm not center right either. Kind of a weird area.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much a liberal.
Very center left, yes.
And
although, to be fair, anybody at this stage would believe I'm far right just like anybody else, because Lord knows I don't support half of what the left does anymore.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Because if you listen to Bronx Blogger, people on the left have to be socialists or communists. Hillary's not on the left. She's oh god, that was just stupid. Because it was on the Kill Stream one night. He's trying to say that Hillary's not a liberal because she's not a socialist or whatever. Ugh.
It's one of those things where I don't get why we're in a stage where people just it's like we were saying earlier with the internet blood sport stuff. It's like, why can't people just sit in a room and just talk to each other? I know the reality is that two people on opposing sides just can't because their pride or they're just plain stupidity just won't allow it.
Yeah.
The reality is like I've had shouting matches with friends of mine on certain issues, but at the end of the day, we come back the next time we see each other and we still shake hands or we hug it out. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
The problem that we see today is that people just are not willing to talk to each other. And even if they do, they're not listening.
I know.
You know, there's a reason why people like Dave Rubin, people like Jordan Peterson, people like Colin Moriarty, for fuck's sakes, gets in shit just because all they want to do is talk to people. They listen to people. They may not support what these people talk to, but that doesn't matter to certain people because they think that just the second you have them on their show, you must be one of them. The only way that we have ever learned from history as a society is by reading, is by listening, is by getting to know the things that are around us. We are now living in an age where people do not want to do that. They want to hear just the things they want to hear, and that is it. And that is the reason why shit's going downhill, is because we're not willing to learn anything.
Well, it's kind of like the South Africa thing a few weeks ago. Well, Lacey Green was calling it a white supremacist conspiracy theory. They're just going to take away unused land because the bitch doesn't know how farming works. That farmers often leave a plot of land that they've been using the fallow for a season so it doesn't burn out the soil. And it's just like, how about you just stick to your feminist and sex ed stuff that you actually know about?
And that's the thing. That's the thing too. Like, you're getting a lot of people that all they want to do is vomit at the mouth. They don't want to listen, and they also don't want to research. I try, and I'm not saying I'm guilty. I'm never guilty of this because I do it all the fucking time too. Yeah. But people are just, they're taking the headlines, and that is the research. Well, you know, I don't get how people think that they can just go around and talk like they know everything when, like, for example, people think they have the ability to tell who's a Nazi and who isn't, but they couldn't even tell you a single thing about what happened in history when it comes to Nazism other than something to do with Hitler or the Holocaust. Wow. They couldn't tell you when the party formed. They couldn't tell you why the party formed. They just think, oh, Nazi means you're a racist. Oh, so you must be a Nazi. It's like, no.
Well, here's the thing. Someone I know on Facebook was writing about saying that about how the Nazis weren't really socialist. Like, well, technically speaking, Hitler was trying to socialize the ethnicity of the people instead of the economy, because socialism is more about people being the same.
Yeah.
Because that's how B put it on one of his streams. I can't remember when it was, but that's what he mentioned, is that Hitler wanted to socialize the people, not the economy. But a lot of these people, they don't understand that.
Well, and the thing is too is when it comes to a party and a movement that is such as polarizing as the Nazi movement was, I mean, no amount of information that we're taught is really going to help us understand the atrocities and the horrifying things that party did. The difference, though, is that, you know, we at least when I was in high school and learning about this stuff, we were taught how to understand specifically how horrible the things they did were, and at least where the beginnings were. I don't know what's taught in schools now when it comes to how World War II began, but with the way that a lot of these kids are coming out of high school and college, I have to be very suspectful that they're not being taught a lot. They're probably just being taught the very bare minimum.
I think they're being indoctrinated.
Well, I mean, that's already obvious, but I'm from a standing point of what they're actually learning. Well, I really don't think they're even being taught why the movement started in the first place.
Well, I don't know if you remember this, but several months back, not several, but a few months back, Aim Paladin did some video about about Polish nationalism, and Kevin Logan had to come out and call her a Holocaust denier because she's used the word, quote, death camps, and referred to what the camps that they had in Poland during the war. Yeah. And her point was that those were actually more labor camps to begin with. They became death camps later on.
Yeah.
And of course, Ken Logan, being the brainlet that he is, eventually he called Halsey, that Jewish guy, a Holocaust denier when he said that the numbers might actually be higher.
Well, this is the same group that calls any Jewish person that disagrees with them a Nazi. So, you can't really take much of what they say as very creepy.
I know.
So,
I know. At this point, you just have to say, "What do you mean Nazi? You think anyone's a Nazi these days?"
I mean, these days, just in general, to be completely honest, I'm really getting sick and tired of the labels. I'm tired. I'm tired of Nazi. I'm tired of alt-right. I'm tired of cuck. I'm tired of snowflake. I'm tired of all of these terms because they don't have meaning anymore. Hell, we're tired of racist, sexist, homophobe, transphobe, all these things because they don't mean shit no more.
I know.
You know what means something now? Dishonest. You know what means something now? Liar.
Well, I remember
misinformed.
I was watching a Kumite one time, and it was after Malcolm North was called a white supremacist, and AP from Gulf City was saying, white supremacy doesn't mean what it used to be in the 1950s. Now it just means anyone that wants a working middle class, a strong economy, people getting good educations and whatnot.
No, white supremacist just means you're white. Honestly, the gist of what it is now, it seems to me that white supremacist means you're a white person and you don't want to die. That's basically what I see now.
Yeah.
Is it an over-exaggeration? Sure, but
the
way that it's tossed around so lightly, does it actually have a meaning anymore? Because I don't think it does.
Well, here's another thing. Milo Yiannopoulos, he's Jewish, gay, and married to a black guy, yet somehow, he's a neo-Nazi.
Because, I mean, here's the thing. Like, here comes the things of labels not being thrown around properly. Milo Yiannopoulos is not a Nazi. Milo Yiannopoulos is not an alt-right, white supremacist, whatever the fuck. If you want to use a good word for what Milo Yiannopoulos is, he's a loudmouth prick. That's what Milo Yiannopoulos is. And he revels in the fact that he's a loudmouth prick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again,
he's also an opportunist.
If you want to call somebody names, call them an asshole when they're being an asshole. Stop calling them a Nazi. Just call it like it is. Don't fucking use these terms that used to actually have some really heavy intrinsic value and use them like you're just throwing the word idiot around. Nazi is just as common as what we did to each other in kids when we called each other stupid. Like, that's what it is now.
Well, it's just like from when Obama's president, they overused the word racist. It means nothing now.
Literally every term in the book that's being tossed around in this culture war is akin to what playground arguments were.
And they devalue what all these words mean.
I feel like it'd be worse to call somebody a stupid head than to call somebody a Nazi now. That's where we are, because it carries no weight anymore.
Well,
the term itself means jack shit.
I don't know. I was telling my mom I probably wouldn't be a good politician because I'd probably call my opponent a faggot.
Oh, yeah, that's another.
And when the media says, do you have any apologies for using the word faggot for your opponent, knowing that he's a homosexual? So, no, I call him a faggot because he's an asshole.
I even remember, like, in high school, people getting mad whenever I said that's so gay, and they're like, that's offensive. I'm like, at one point the word gay actually was meant to be used in a positive light.
I don't know.
It used to actually mean you were happy or joyful. I think wasn't that what like it used to be way back in the day?
Yeah, the old Flintstones opening mentioned something about gay old.
Yeah, there we go. There's a definition. Number one of a person, especially being homosexual. The second one is lighthearted and carefree.
Yeah.
So at one point, the word "gay" used to actually mean like you were having a good time. You're having a gay old time. It's like the Flintstones music.
I know. Well, when I say faggot, I mean like Medicare does when he calls someone a faggot. It usually means like someone that's being a retard. It's an old 90s.
What, really? You didn't mean a bundle of sticks or twigs bound together as fuel?
Yep. Or one of those bikers according to South
Park. What? I just searched this up randomly. It's actually like a dish too?
Faggot?
What? Okay. Thank you, Wikipedia, for this. Faggots. Meatballs made from minced offcuts and offal, especially pork, traditionally pig's heart, liver, and fatty belly meat or bacon, together with herbs for flavoring and sometimes added breadcrumbs. They're a traditional dish in the UK, especially South and Mid Wales and the English Midlands.
Of course, the Welsh.
Yeah, I mean, what sounds better than, having faggots and a side of spotted dick,
Oh boy.
Good Lord.
But
It
also,
really tells you that like we don't really have we
but
don't
also,
even though we've had the English language for years and years and years, we still haven't quite grasped it very well.
no. Well,
Maybe
also,
no wonder why people can't learn it when they come to this country. It's because none of the words make any sense. It's like that running gag that like a comedian did about how many different ways you use the word shit.
I had this. I was thinking, going back to my little thing about if I was running for office. I'd probably show up at my opponent's campaign headquarters. I said, I heard you were talking shit about me like I wasn't going to find out.
Well, in this day and age, you can't say anything secretly.
I know, but maybe just kind of funny to see a candidate just show up at their opponent's headquarters after they've been putting out these negative ads. I said, I heard you talking shit about me like I wasn't going to find out.
I think that's why people made the running joke after Trump got in office that like fuck it, let's just have The Rock run for office. Look, all I need is like a debate with Dwayne The Rock Johnson just cutting a promo on somebody. That's all I want.
At this point, I'm just like, here's what a lot of these people don't understand. That the reason why Trump got elected in the first place is because they've been a bunch of overly sensitive faggots for so long that people just like, okay, we're electing this guy because he doesn't give a shit.
I think it also just stems from the fact that the the Democratic movement had gotten so overwhelming, and the person that they put in the front of that was the most unlikable person they possibly ever could have put in front of it. Not to mention that you also had a plethora of Bernie Sanders supporters that were also extremely pissed off that basically their guy was cheated out.
Yeah, and they decided some of them supported Trump and some of them went for Jill Stein.
The game was fixed. Like going back to the sports analogies, people got mad because the game was fucking fixed.
Yeah, I think a lot is anger. Like every once in a while, they trot her out to complain about how she was stolen because it was her turn. Never mind the fact that the office shouldn't be about whose turn it is. It should be about who's best qualified. And
Uh,
I don't mean to stick my nose into Canadian politics when I say this, but when people say Trump is unqualified to be a leader, Trudeau was like a professional tourist when he wasn't being a substitute drama teacher and a part-time ski instructor.
well, the argument you could make on that front, though, is that at least his father was actually a very well-known politician at one point, while Trump basically his claim to fame is that he took his father's money and made an empire of it, and then lost it, and then tried to make it back.
Yeah.
So I mean, nobody's clean in this. I mean, the difference is that at least here in Canada, unlike what's going on in the States right now, is at least we're willing to hear more than two voices. When the debates come up in the general election in the States, it's just two people at the stand. Here
I
in
know.
Canada, at one point it actually used to be five. In the
Well,
federal elections, at one point it was five parties that were at the debate.
well, I was ready to go libertarian, but then they put Gary Johnson in there. I was like, no. Because the libertarians, they get too obsessed with like pot and that kind of ruins them every time. It's like,
I mean, to be completely honest, it was if there was ever a time to spite vote, Gary Johnson might as well have been the one because sure he wouldn't have got in, but at the very least, if he gave them enough support, the Libertarians might have actually got a seat at the table next
yeah,
time.
but then he had to fuck it up by acting like a clown.
Sure. I mean, what's going on here, like I said earlier, with Doug Ford being elected here in Ontario, what happened though is that even if people don't like the results, the best result that we ever could have asked for is that the Green Party won a seat, which means the next time we have a provincial election here, there's going to be now a fourth voice, which is something the province has never had. And again, I could care less who wins because at the end of the day, we're all picking between bowls of shit.
Yeah.
I even asked my friends this a while ago. It's like, can anybody name whether it's our provincial premier, whether it's a prime minister, is there anybody that really was universally loved? No, the correct answer is all of them. By the time they leave, they're hated. But what is at least happening now with what's going on here in the province is that at the very least we're hearing more voices, which is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
What the states need so badly is that they need to have at least a third voice at the table, because when you have a two-sided debate, you're only hearing the extremes on both sides. You're not hearing an alteration. I I don't care what the party is, whether it's another right party, whether it's another left party. A third voice just needs to be there so that people, at least when it comes to whether it's the Democrats or whether it's the Republicans, at least they'll hear one side that says, oh, so this is a different version of what the Republican Party thinks, or this is a different version of what the Democratic Party thinks. Because the thing with having only one side for each of the left and right means you're only getting one spin of it. And there are a billion different ideas that can go with it.
Yeah. One thing that worries me about the left in this country is they're going more and more towards socialism or communism. And as I look at the track record of socialism and communism, it's failed every time it's been tried.
If you want my complete honesty, I don't think the left is moving towards more socialism so much as the voices that are screaming the loudest are the ones that are actually saying that that's what they support. I don't think the Democratic Party as a whole is actually intending to become a socialist party so much as I think that because of the way the outspoken left has acted and the way that the media portrays it, it's impossible for the left to ever disagree with those people because they know that all they'll do is get removed from the positions they hold. I don't think that the large percentage of Democratic MPs are actually that far leaning to the left, but they know that if they don't toe the line, that they will be out of work or that they will be vilified. In the same vein that I don't think that the Republicans or the Conservative Party, depending on which country you live in, I don't think that they're skewing more to the right. I think nobody's positions have truly changed. The difference is we've now let the idiots have the microphone. We've let the extremes have the platform.
Yeah.
Social media has kind of allowed that.
I think another thing that's kind of hurt politics in my country is basically the whole political dynasty bullshit. Yeah. And these career politicians, like John McCain, he was in office for 30 years. And he didn't really do shit. And when he knew
sometimes that's all you can ask for from a politician is that they don't do shit.
Yeah, but at some point, didn't he actually try to deliver on their promises instead of make empty promises and then do nothing? That's one thing that kind of pisses a lot of these establishment not Republicans, but politicians off because Trump's actually delivering on a lot of his promises. And it scares him because if he starts delivering on too many promises, our constituents will expect us to actually make good on our promises.
Well, as the reality is just any politician is always a platform filled with lies, deceit, and unkept promises. Yeah. So in reality, every politician that gets elected into office is gonna go through with a lot of their main campaign points, but there's going to be catches to them. Some of them are not going to be done the way that we expected them to. And then quite honestly, the ones that we really needed the most are not going to be even remotely close to what they were supposed to be. So is he doing things that he said he was going to do? Sure. But is he doing the things that are benefiting us, or at least in the case of the States, are they benefiting you the most? I would say that's hard to tell. I mean, in all honesty, this is the other problem too with politics in general, is that you can't really measure the weight of what somebody does when they bring in laws into office or they take laws out. You're not really ever going to be able to measure them until long after they're gone.
Yeah.
Well, in the same vein that when you make trades in sports, you don't really know what you're getting until 3 years down the road. In the case of politics, it could be decades.
Now that you mentioned sports,
depending on what we're talking about.
Now you mentioned sports, let's talk about Colin Kaepernick really quick. Why can't most people see that his activism is just him trying to not good enough to play quarterback?
I would disagree because from what I've seen, he was very capable compared to some of the other people that are getting jobs right now.
But
I don't know much about football, but I hear enough on the radio when I go to work that there are a lot of fucking fleece jobs that we're seeing with some of the quarterbacks that are getting starts.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that, his activism did kind of hurt his chances of ever starting on a team because, well, he almost had a quarterback position on some team, and then his girlfriend, who's like a black activist, started running her mouth, and the owner of the team said, no, we don't need that.
I mean, at the end of the day, here's how I look at it. Colin Kaepernick in general would not be nearly as big of an issue if he was a much better player.
Yeah.
If he was a superstar quarterback, this shit would have died down years ago because he would have just gone about his business, possibly won a Super Bowl, and nobody would be talking about the issues anymore. Because he's not playing, the issue is now so much bigger than it ever should have been.
Well, I'm also not really big on sports, but a lot of that kneeling bullshit just, I think, is kind of takes away from what football is.
Well, my stance is that, quite simply, sports are supposed to be a getaway from things. So in the same light that we look at video games and anime and whatever else that we enjoy, it's supposed to be an escape. So for people like, yeah, sure, I mean, the troop stuff, like when it comes to, you know, when you have the flag down half-mast, or you do the America the Beautiful song before a game when a tragic event happens, like that stuff's fine. Like that's just patriotism. But to bring full-blown politics into sports, like there are some people that will be able to put up with it, but the average person is not going to want to, because they're watching sports to get away from that.
Yeah, that's
in the same vein that what's going on with Serena Williams, for example. People don't give a shit about the sexism part of it because they didn't watch tennis to go see political debate. Like, if I want to go see a political debate, I would turn on C-SPAN.
I know.
Like, we have enough channels out there that we can find politics without needing to go to ESPN for it.
Well, that whole Serena Williams thing is a bunch of stupidity. They're trying to bring up racism and other stuff like that.
Well, the fact of the matter is, it's just, again, like I said earlier, when it comes to politics, people just being upset that they lost, that's really all it is Serena had a bad game and she got upset, and she can't just own the fact that she lost her temper again, because she's had a history of it. She's even admitted in the past that she has gotten better and her emotions got the best of her here, and she just can't admit the fact that she overblew it. Could there have been a personal vendetta against her from that judge? Sure. But is sexism necessarily what it is? I don't think that's the case. I don't think there's evidence to support it.
And all these other judges are refusing to officiate matches with her in it because they don't want to be caught in that same shitstorm. Kind of says a lot.
I mean, to be completely honest, if she had just gone out there and just said, I thought that, I didn't like the first call being coached. Sure, I smashed my racket. That's an infraction. Sure. But to lose a game in a U.S. Open final, like that's heavy. If that had been the narrative, we could have had a whole different debate about it. But it had to be the I'm a woman, I'm a mother card. Like even if that were true, like let's even go to the crazy, like the over the top extreme that it literally was sexism in that because she's a black female mother. Just even if that was the truth and we don't know that, just bringing it up, it sounds like an excuse, because just saying that instead of just saying, hey, I didn't agree with the call, it's a lot easier to say that and people could understand that. Like if you just said, I didn't like the call, so I got upset, that's where the story ends.
She should have just said that, but now she's got to make it into
it's got to be a political thing. That's what we were saying, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And again, that's why you're seeing all these people coming out of the woodwork to comment on it, is because the first time to hear anything interesting about tennis and for a long time, because obviously with the era the way that it's been, especially in men's tennis where it's been the same three guys winning, the first big story we're hearing in tennis is actually gaining traction in the basic news outlet is one of politicization. Jeez, this is what happens when we talk for over 2 hours. I can't say words properly. Politicization.
Yeah.
It's just nobody wants to hear that shit no more. I don't want to hear stories from Kotaku coming out about how Spider-Man is supporting cops in the video game. I don't give a shit. I don't want to hear comments about people trying to interview the Cyberpunk 2077 guys about what gender or what sexuality the main character is. I don't care. When we're talking sports, when we're talking games, hell, when we're just talking anything of entertainment value that is not based on reality, that is not based on what we're interacting with in our daily lives in terms of a social culture, I don't want to hear about that stuff anymore. I did at one point, admittedly, and now it's at a point that it's like I don't have the capacity to do it anymore.
Well, it's like anime. There is some politics in it, like Gate. but it's like, but it's more
But
like,
it's fictional politics. It doesn't really have weight
well, what's
to
more
it.
like the author of Gate doesn't like the fact that Americans soldiers are still occupying Japan and all that. But
Yeah,
but the theme of Gate is
but
basically like,
it's
let me finish. Gate's theme is a lot like Team America World Police, except instead of America fuck yeah, it's Japan fuck yeah.
yeah, because I mean like I can't really pull out examples in anime because I don't feel like there's really been an anime that's overly politicized anything because well, Japan lives in its own bubble. It doesn't really care to comment on stuff that often. But I mean, when we see all these Western video games, when we see television shows, when we see comedy specials, when we see sports, when they are trying to pull us further and further into the political spectrum, of course there's going to be a backlash just because we're trying to get away from that because it's so depressing and so enraging.
Well,
I
it's kind
don't
of like
watch
Guardian
baseball.
Spies.
Yeah.
That thing's
I mean,
kind of,
we don't partake in this stuff because we want to be reminded of what is going on outside of our
well,
bedroom or wherever we're playing this stuff. If get
remember,
away.
let me, I want to find that tweet again because where they basically start, Crunchyroll started blocking people because they didn't like their LGBT panel that wasn't about anime at an anime convention.
And it's just like you know what you, like there was a convention that I went to a couple months ago, and they had specific panels that were LGBT based,
Yeah. Uh,
and people went to those. Just like there was a panel that I did about professional wrestling, and like 10 people went to it out of a room that could have taken 200 people. Whatever the case is, if you want to talk about a certain subject, just put it out there in the ether right off the bat, so people don't have to
well,
suddenly just fall into it.
I played a Don Machi mobile game,
Yeah, the
and
Memoria freeze.
yeah, and Crunchyroll shoved their mascot into the game. I was like, ugh, why?
I mean, that doesn't necessarily bother me.
I know, just
It's a free 4-star character. I'm okay with that.
yeah, but I was like,
I'm probably not gonna use her because I have way too many others already. But
I know.
the only real
I,
crime is those 3 shitty comics they put in there.
yeah, I just start skipping them because I didn't care. Uh,
I looked at them and I said, "Did you even try?"
I rolled on the gotcha once. And I was like, oh, thank God's Hestia. I was never that happy to be spooked by Hestia ever. I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
that. Speaking of my gacha luck being terrible, that game refuses to give me anything Hephaestus based. Jesus.
well, I got two of, I got the new Hephaestus and I got a bond up for her.
I mean, I suppose I shouldn't
But,
complain. I've pretty much got almost all the swimsuit characters, and I do have
well, I got Lefia, so I'm good.
I do have the main Ryu Leon, so I'm not that upset anymore. But
I want to get the normal adventurer Ryu, but I'm not going to get it.
I didn't think I would, and I got really lucky.
I
So
I thought I could get.
I should have quit the game while I was ahead.
Well, I thought I could get a bond up for our succession bell, which is my because he's really overpowered. But I thought I could farm more. I was like, oh, I can only get one. I want to get him to maximum level. But that gotcha for the anniversary. I kept trying to get Lefia because, god damn it, I shipped them for him Bell.
I'm at the point now that I don't think I can make enough Eris to really do anything with it. I have enough for 2 11s, but I mean, it's at least when Fire Emblem Heroes is still running, they still give you currency a lot more faster for
Yeah.
free.
Are they shutting down the Fire Emblem one?
As far as I know, it's still going.
Oh, well, I haven't played in a long time because I was like,
It's still very much thriving, mind you. Again, it's Nintendo, so that thing's gonna last a long time.
yeah, I just roll the gotchas when I do try to play it.
You know what I basically do now? I basically just keep saving them up, and I wait till the summer when all the swimsuit ones come out because I like pissing people off by saying, "Hey, I got this one."
Yeah, that means.
I mean,
What I find funny about Memoria Freeze is how they're basically shipping Lefia with Bell. Because All the
I don't know.
time,
I just assumed that Belle was always going to go with what's the silver hair girl? I'm blanking on her right now.
eyes,
What?
eyes.
Not Blondie. I'm talking the girl that's like the waitress.
Oh,
Is it
um,
Sear? I think
there. Yeah, I ship them too.
either that or I think it's Aina, the elf girl. That's her guildmaster or whatever, or his
The
guildmaster, I should say.
well, his advisor.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. That's one of those few anime that I give a lot of props to for having some really damn good character designs because a lot of them have so much trouble pulling that shit off.
Well, what I find interesting about Memory of Freeze is how they really expanded on the character of Lefia because in Sword Oratoria, she's kind of one dimensional. She's basically Kuroko from Tuaru. The lesbian is obsessed with a girl, basically, is what I'm saying.
I mean, in general, just there's such a really vibrant cast that they got there that
Yeah.
you know that's a game that definitely was going to work as a gotcha game because there was no shortage of people that you were going to like.
I know. Well, other
I
people,
think we're finding really quickly that like Star Ocean's game is not doing very well because there just isn't enough there.
I just remembered something funny in Memory of Freeze. If you have Lefia active and she interacts with like Lily. Lily makes a comment about how she's going to the dungeon with Belle, and Lefia apparently starts scowling
Oh, of course.
because secretly she's in love with him.
Well,
Well,
if you judge from the entire anime, I mean, Belle's basically got like 30 different girls and probably a couple guys that we don't know about that are vying for him. So,
yeah.
I mean, Ganesh is probably one of them, but he can't say anything other than "I am Ganesha." So
I am Ganesh. Poor what's her name?
he really is like the anime Groot, isn't he?
Yeah. Poor Shakti. She's got poor this idiocy.
Poor any girl that has to have Loki as their familia.
Uh,
Lord knows, Lord knows that you better not share a room with that woman.
yeah. I'm a little bit
You're not
disappointed.
going to have clothes by the end of it.
Touch disappointed with the debutante event. I was expecting uh Tiona to start feeling something for Belle. In the end, we got a little bit, but not very much.
I don't know. From what I got from the anime, at least from what they've shown so far, I think those two kind of are just like they're just playful.
Well, apparently in the novels, Tiona's got a little bit of a crush. But the event was kind of nice because she put up with that prince insulting her, but when he started insulting Belle, that's when she got pissed off.
Oh. Like I said, that anime has kind of gone out of its way to just leave the door open for almost all of them. So
I know. But
I'm surprised. I'm surprised at some point Finn hasn't gone around being like, he's a girly looking boy like I am. We should totally make out.
Finn is basically what Tione, the Busty's sister.
Well, yeah, but can you blame him?
Well, from what it seems like, it's kind of like a one-sided thing. But he's like, why have to get a Shotokan?
Eh. It's like Kobayashi-san. It doesn't count if the dragon's over 300 years old.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I love how people made that excuse with Kana, and I'm thinking, yeah, but that doesn't take away from the other girl that's like still 9.
I know.
Like as much as I love that, I thought it was so hilarious. I totally get why people got a little weirded out by that. I totally understand that.
Well, King's Raid, last batch of heroes they released, one of them is a lolly dragon. But she's like 100 years old, so. But dragons seem to age differently or something like that because she's basically out of her hatchling stage according to the lore. So confused. Lolicon. Although I like her more like because she's adorable rather than what some people like her for. I'm gonna link you to a picture of what Lilia looks like because she's pretty cute. Find the right window. And last patch they added a vampire that's voiced by Albedo from Overlord.
Yeah.
Now I look at listen to her like I can hear her going, Einstama.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That show is flip flopping on me so fucking hard right
I
now.
know. Well, all these people are pissed off because Ainz is acting like a villain. And it's like that is kind of the theme of the show. It's about a guy that's becoming a villain.
Well, what initially pissed me off about the episode that really shook that up is that it's the way that the show had acted all the way up until this point was that he slaughtered the ones that he felt had wronged him, and the ones that were redeemable, he found a way to figure out a way to have them work within.
Mm-hmm.
I understood why he killed everybody. What I didn't like, though, is that the anime went out of its way to make, especially the blonde girl that has the two sisters.
I'm not that far. I only finished the first season.
Okay, because they introduced a character in the second season, or no, the third season, sorry, where her and a ton of other adventurers all get slaughtered by Ainz and company, but they make her specifically very likable. And the thing with Overlord over the 3 seasons up until that point is that anybody that Ainz or anybody involved with Ainz killed were usually not likable. They were the most disgusting of the disgusting. Some of the ones they kill here, they may not be innocent, but they are at least redeemable. I think that's what threw people off, is that it made such a colossal jump from killing other villains to now killing people that kind of just were in the wrong place.
I think it's probably established that he's starting to become evil beyond redemption.
I think that was the point. However, I don't feel, and maybe it's just because I missed shit, it's very possible that they didn't show it the way that I wanted it to, because I don't feel like those wheels turned that far. Yeah. I don't think the train had gone that far down the tracks to justify it. I do starting to get to that point, but I think to the level that he went in this specific episode that I'm talking about, I don't think we were that far down the tracks. We were still a good half a season to a full season away from that.
Well,
so I get why a lot of people, especially that have been keeping up with the show, have got a little pissed off with it, because I think that they rushed this story a little farther. Yeah. I think also because this season is 6 months apart from the second, I think they might have rushed this one out.
Yeah. Here's something similar. There was a series I was reading for a while. It's basically about like a Dark Lord that basically creates his own dungeon and all that. At one point, this adventuring party comes down there, and he basically separates them. He mind breaks the female members of this guy's party and cucks this guy hard. And so the guy gets angry and gets his head cut off, and he turns the guy to a Dullahan.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are pissed off about how he cucked this guy. Like, you do realize this series is about a guy that's supposed to be the big bad villain of the whole world in his story.
Yeah. Because I mean that. Sorry, go ahead.
Sometimes you gotta have a story about the villain from his side.
Yeah, I just think that what's happened with Overlord specifically is that we became so accustomed to liking everybody that the second that they turn it on us, it's going to create a bit of friction. Now, I'm a couple episodes since, I'm okay. I'm a lot better than I was after that episode in question. But at the time, anybody who was giving me shit, especially like on Twitter and Gab, like people were giving me crap about it. It's like, dude, like I've been watching the show since it started. Like, I do have an emotional attachment to the show now. In the
Yeah.
same vein that obviously the people that got really pissed off at the end of Mass Effect 3, like if you've been in the long haul that far, you can get annoyed pretty quick. Something can really send you over the deep end real fast if you spent that much time with it.
Yeah, that's kind of
So it's like if you're watching any anime for that just goes more than 3 seasons. Like Food Wars is also a great example. When Food Wars brought out its new villain and decided to take the fun away, like I still haven't caught up to that show, and I don't know if I ever will go back now because it's
well,
now so far gone.
I haven't been reading a manga kind of after the end of the arc. I just kind of lost the interest.
Because
But
that's the
that
thing. I'm starting to wonder if maybe it was a loss of interest in general, and this just kickstarted, or if it literally was. That's how bad the villain was to me that it just threw everything
yeah.
away.
Say, here's my take on Azami. He should have been put in charge of Totsuki. He should have been like the head of a rival school that just starts poaching the talent. And
Yeah, I think by him becoming the new headmaster, basically said, "Okay, we're going to completely change everything," which is like, but nothing, but everything was good.
I don't know.
Like
It's just,
that was the thing that I said. It was the biggest reason why I dropped it. I said for two, even through the autumn elections arc, which was just a long grind. I can't believe they let that go as long as it did. It took so long to get through those episodes. You finally got past that and you went back to what everybody left from the first season. It was just fun, over the top cooking and sexual reactions to that food.
mm-hmm.
Everything was back. And then you decided to just completely flip it upside down. And you expected the people to go along with it. And sure, the hardcore watchers will always go to that point. But the people that identify with Food Wars because of the silliness, that arc kills it. It straight up kills that show.
Yeah, it does. So just like takes away the theme of the show. There was a running. Well, someone pointed out that basically what Zombie's doing is basically a metaphor for socialism or communism.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because instead of everyone earning because of their merit, everyone's the same. All the cooking's the same. Mass produced everything. Instead,
Which is cool and all, but when your show
yeah,
for that extended period of time was actually fun,
yeah,
to take away the fun, you're expecting people to sift through depressing bullshit. And if I wanted to watch depressing bullshit, I would just turn back on Anohana or You Rely on April and just cry myself to
yeah.
sleep.
Well, it's like one thing that's really stupid about the arc is basically he's pissed off that his senpai didn't notice him. Joichiro didn't notice him enough.
So what you're saying is he's a tsundere.
He's a yandere.
He's a culinary yandere.
Ugh.
Oh, I guess to be fair, he does hold a knife, so
And then in the end, they beat his sorry ass. And they make Erina the headmaster, and someone becomes a head of Elite 10.
wait, is that how the arc ends? Arena becomes the headmaster?
Yeah,
Damn. Soma's gonna be rich as fuck when he marries that woman.
that's one thing I get tired of. I can't go on like look at the comic sections of that series ever because if Erina does something, oh no, oh my, the ship's sailing so hard. Like, all she did is say his name.
To be fair, I think those two would actually be a really funny pairing.
I actually like Rindo. I like Alice and Rindo best.
I mean, to be fair, my favorite character out of all the women is Hojo. So
Who's Hojo?
that's what I mean. You've only seen her a handful of times. So
Well,
she's the girl that's in the Chinese dress at one point.
Right.
But either way,
Yeah.
either that or
I
Akumi,
think.
because
Oh,
anybody who has a fond love of making really goddamn good meat, that's somebody I can get behind.
well, yeah. Mikuni is the actual tsundere.
Yeah, I don't associate with tsundere characters very often, but if she can cook me some goddamn good steak, I can't no, I can't back away from that. That would be stupid.
I know. What I find funny about characters like hers, because she thought she was so much better than Soma because she used the best cuts of meat. and then he comes in and beats her with like cheap cuts.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
That's what I
again,
like about the.
I would love to taste some $500 fucking good meat.
Well, what I like about Silma's character is he actually has some career experience having worked in his family's restaurant.
Well, that's the thing. You see through all of the anime that a lot of people he's competing with are just people that
Had no
were
experience.
were just like the ultimate silver plattered fucking people that are just they were taught from the ground up and they were never actually put into the act of
Kitchen.
actually serving it.
Yeah, because he actually knows about serving people and making sure they're happy with their meal because he worked in his family's diner.
Unless he gets bored, and then he just makes feeds you some disgusting shit, like a peanut butter squid that's going to make you feel like you're getting
That's a
technically
funny
raped.
thing.
But
The
that's a,
peanut
that's
butter,
a, that's a whole different conversation.
the peanut butter squid is how Erina and Selma beat uh, Sukasa and Rindo.
That's awesome.
Erina puts it into like her dish, and she uses like the concept of the peanut butter squid. It's like, oh, that's neat.
So what you're saying is those two together did a culinary Kamehameha wave together.
Pretty much.
Kamehameha with extra tentacle rape.
But goddamn, some of the stuff in that show is like early on, you see Selma pointing out to all these rich kids that they don't know shit because
He's telling the truth.
a lot of them, like the one was being an asshole to him because Selma comes from like a small family diner and well, his family runs several restaurants. Like, yeah, but you've never worked in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And then you find out later that Selma's dad was like the number two CEO of the Elite 10. Like,
Yeah, the man knew what the fuck he was doing.
yeah, he. What I'm waiting for is basically to find out more. But, oh yeah, here's another thing about the after that arc. We learned that Selma has a half brother or something like that. A brother he doesn't know
Oh,
about.
come on. It's anime. There's always a half sibling.
I know. I, I
Color me shocked.
yeah, I need to look this up because it's been a while since I read.
It's funny though. Like I was doing an argument about it. It's like somebody's like, "Really, you would take Akumi over all the other girls?" I'm like, "Well, for example, at least if I know if I'm dating Akumi, at least I know I'm getting good steak. If I date Alice, I don't know what the fuck I'm eating every day."
Well, Alice does have a cute derp face.
Oh no, she's amazing. Like I love Alice. The problem is if she ever cooked for me, I don't. I'm a picky eater, so with Alice, it's impossible for me to decipher what the hell she's made. So I'm afraid that I'm about to eat something that's going to make me sick to my stomach. At least, at least if Akumi pops a big thing of steak on the table, I know I'm eating fucking steak. Alice will literally come here with this cube thing that she made in some fucking like liquid nitrogen friggin' cooking device, and it looks like it's blue. And I'm thinking, I don't know anything that can make a color like that.
Yeah. What I also found interesting about Shokugeki no Soma is that Shino guy that he was kind of an asshole at first, and then him and Soma just kind of develop respect for one another.
What, the guy who imitates everybody?
Yeah, the uppity acting French chef.
Oh, the French guy. So that would have been
Yeah, let's try to find him.
oh, the teacher. Sorry, I was thinking of
Yeah,
students still. No, the teacher guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that guy that someone had to go study under on that week, that time away when he had to go learn under another chef and all that. Where him and Hisako kind of had a shippy moment.
I mean, the only thing I could say about that show, really, in closing, is that I have never wanted to eat fish dishes more in my entire life, even though I absolutely despise seafood.
Yeah. So basically, Selma's brother is Asahi Saiba. And he's kind of a. And apparently, he beat their father. It was like, oh, come on. You got to do the evil brother thing.
Oh, look at this brooding fuck. Jesus Christ. I'm glad I'm not looking at this.
Uh,
All I see is a picture of him with a band. He looks like Bandit Keith if he got rid of his hair color.
which guy? Asahi Saiba?
Yeah.
Uh,
But he looks like every like cliche like hacker anime character.
I know.
Jesus. So much for that so much for me what I said about Food Wars for the longest time, where I said, man, they got some great original characters. This guy is the most bland looking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's just your edgy rival that shows up to fuck with people. Like,
This is the one criticism I will always give about anime. They don't know when to quit making characters.
I know. Like, here's the thing I don't like about like anime fandoms. They always talk about how people always like the edgy rival better. And I'm like, I don't really find those guys interesting. They're just edgy. They're hateful. They like Bakugo from Hero Academia. I don't really like him. He's just like an obnoxious, arrogant asshole that you kind of want to see punched in the face a few hundred times.
See, I don't. I prefer the Loof guys.
Yeah, the ones who don't
Like,
care.
take Oh my god,
Shikamaru.
what's the guy's name? Like, have you been watching Isekai Mao?
Not really. I read the manga for a while.
Like, Emil?
Not really. Kind of forgot the characters.
Okay, he's the guy that constantly tries to save the women. He's just he's the gentleman that has to save everybody, but he's a fucking moron.
Of
He
course he is.
he's a dumbass knight who's just saving women. So his heart's in the right place. It's just his brain left his body years ago. So he comes in, does the same. He's like Team Rocket. He just comes in, does the same lines every time, and usually gets his ass kicked. And it's hilarious. Those are the characters I enjoy because they actually make you smile. The edgelord characters are just like, ugh.
Like Accelerator from Tuaru, where he,
Every time you see those characters on screen, you feel like I need to take a bath.
yeah, it's just like, oh come on, couldn't you come with a better rival? Like, Black Clover. I'll use that for example. You have Yuno, and people talk about how Yuno and Asta are supposed to be good friends. Every time Yuno shows up, the first words out of his mouth are, "I'm going to be the next Magic King." Wow. Asshole much? How about it's good to see you? We haven't seen each other for months.
Well, such as anime rivals.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I think we're like 2.5 hours. I think I should probably stop.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The plot sounds like it got horrible that he kidnapped this edgy rival brother, just shows up and kidnaps Erina, and like, god damn.
Yeah, what are we at? Where are we at time wise? Holy crap! I think we might be at like 3 hours.
I know. We got started talking politics, now we're talking fun stuff again.
Yeah, I mean tangential. That's how it is. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here because
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it's that my cold is still going. I think it's just that what happens whenever I record, like I said before, whenever I record, all of a sudden my nose is like, hey, you know how you wanted this to be normal so you can focus properly? We're not gonna let that happen.
Yeah, I know. My nose has been bothering me because I feel like I've got blow my nose or something like that. And
Well, it's been such a fucking long thing. I mean, this is now literally week 3. Like this is now the 21st day of me since I first felt this.
yeah.
So it's like it's been on and off. Obviously, with the temperature changes here, it's been so much crazier. So,
Yeah.
but there was a good chunk in the last like 7 to 10 days where there was no way I could do these streams just because I would have been constantly reaching for a Kleenex. So
I understand.
at least I'm glad that we certainly got our time's worth after being away for a little bit, didn't we? So
Yeah. Yeah.
well, hopefully I won't have nearly as many depressing or agonizingly irritating things to talk about this time.
Yeah.
But I do read Kotaku on the daily basis, so that's probably not going to happen. So
Maybe next time we can stick to the fun stuff without going into the topic that everyone gets angry with talking about: communists, and why they're a bunch of useless faggots.
all right, you heard it here next time, folks. Next episode in the Tsunderedome, nothing but harem anime talk and strictly harem anime talk, and that's it. I'll just talk about Charlotte Denois for 30 minutes. I can do that.
Yeah, I think I need to talk to Brockus when Snatchcast about the weekend because I want to try and get a stream in where I talk about comic book stuff with him. But I better hit the stop button so we can end this because I missed about an hour of the kill stream.
Yay!